Tendi dunga ta travel chewala rang chanju thoko yin. Rang chanju la ming te tundu chi numba. Te tam songden chi sem te la chanju chi sem seyor. Te nganzu yin chi mini ke chimbu chen be lo yong che go la gombu yor ya.
So then, the first two lines, I take refuge in teachers, put it to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha until I'm enlightened. So here, now I take refuge in individuals, which is identifying the object to whom you take refuge in, and then I is the individual who is taking refuge. And until I'm enlightened, I take refuge in individuals until I am enlightened, right? So until I'm enlightened. So here now, the individual I or me who is taking refuge in individuals, it is also important to look at the actual mode of existence of I who is taking refuge in individuals. Try to examine actual mode of existence of the I or the self. And on the basis of critical examination of critical scrutiny of I or self who is taking refuge in individuals, then the next line what it says, which means I say through the merit I created by practicing giving and other perfections, may I accomplish full awakening for the benefit of all other beings. So now this line states the generation of bodhicitta with the practice of giving and so forth, which actually talking about the six perfections, may I accomplish the full awakening minds. So now the full awakening or the bodhicitta or Janshukism, which consists of two aspirations. Janshukism consists of two aspirations. The bodhicitta consists of two aspirations. Aspiration to overcoming the suffering of other sentient beings, and aspiration to attain enlightenment for that purpose. And mind consists of those two aspirations is said to be a bodhicitta. So it is important for us to understand what is meant by bodhicitta. Bodhicitta is aspiration of consists of two aspirations. Mind consists of two aspirations, right? So with this understanding, then one should try one's best to learn how to develop such a mental state, the mental attitude within oneself, and meditate upon.
Yeah, that interview, Jamruta Simje, Nyamsulangan Kazati, and then Chotu Juat, Micha de Yore. Yongolamusungo Chimbu, Tari Tendi Yijin Nolela, Nadanyeba Tari Samshin, Nye Ganjila, Nanke Lodanda, Chunde Sone, and then Jiten Chawakun, Bumba Chawashin to Tojune, Yinsen Kun Nimbu Lembo Go. And just on Lamian and Tate and the Tando Church and Tashi Johnson Lawson. What an answer Matamana and Najanshi should with ten long as Zamiling me. Like you come to them mended by Chotu Georgia or Nedig Tendi Gala, Tanda Shiva Najing, Chamber Simje, and Tawa Najing Lam Condition Lawe Naya, any Lamte the tea, Jinyu. Any purge some tangy yonge, Namjoki Sheriff Yonge. Sheriff Tit and then Sam Loja Chambu, or Tendi Yonge. Tinsa Yijin Nova Jata Mambule and the Lagres Muyori. Hayati Yijin Nova Jata Mambuyana ko and it's in the Chilonchi and as Mato. Tava the Tamsin Chimbe Kumba Duyati, the Choyamari. Tinsa Narasu Tendi, and then be Zachimutinijaris. In the Antini Zachimu Tendi, Yana Yantwe Lavo and Yandochi. Kaduchi Leland Dochi Reves and a Temares. Tanjo Nyakawushu Yoris. The Jugun Nyakawuyori. Any be Jingakuni Lela Uyomari. Moyoguni Nyakawuyori. Gangachane Ambe Tanjuku Muluti. Any Nyakawuyori. Tinsa. Tarituni Nanda Nyeba Taritam Shires. Taritam Shires. Some tomato near Gauchi Malatini, Yurabuji de Rosena, Tajiture that did their maris. Jil Hawachene, Metawe Ranjin and Jilores. Nekan Jila, Nanke Lord which Mato, Yuram Nere Maris. Sunday Samne Tangan Jitin di Jawa, Sin the Nanga Jawa tea, Shimbati, but Done. Sendi Jawa Ganga, Manzi Shindu, Pumalona Shava Najin, Yambutan Menke, Kivashimaba Kin and Doya Chiga Mengage. Lundia care your mother, Tanazing Julon Kandijuena. Put some jigger, Jivashiman, Sosunium the Kia Meva. Pumanajin Jenny, Landres. Yakanjila Nangle London, Sunsan, Buvachawashin to Dojun and Yinsen Kundun Yambulambo goes. And as a Yindan sent, Yajari Chusun Yugosavi or Telabe, Tashima pension ala peg to that Karichi go into something. And she then Shima pension to that do Yatella, and it Shuchambuch sound tango yores. Yinsen Kundun Yambulambo goes. Nature Yamlin Teta. And nature was Jeremy Kuranga, Tenichin, Yamlin Chen, and the moments of a Sanjay Yukomatovari. Jonas Tenichin and Besson Chesh also on it. Tanganzu tea, Damgiore, and the Manzu tea, Jizunch and Garanzu Chichitumna, and the Yagoyoria.
So now we talked about, the practice of taking refuge in individuals. So this our human rebirth is said to be a supreme among all form of rebirth in the cyclic existence, which is most conducive or the suitable of engaging in practice of taking refuge in individuals. It is thus, Lama Tsongkhapa stated that this the precious jewel like rebirth, the human rebirth that we have found, the leisure and leisure and freedom that we have found, is just once, and then it is it is just once, and extremely difficult to find, but it can indicate it indicates very easily by reflection upon how difficult to find and how rare it is to find, and how easily be destroyed, one should not, engage in the mundane activities, which has no essence at all. So therefore, it says, uh, he says that yogic, who have undertaken such practice, those of you who long to achieve liberation must do the same. So, as what Lama Tsongkhapa is stating here is now, out of all kind of, the form of rebirth in the cyclic existence, our human rebirth is said to be the supreme among all those rebirths in terms of conduciveness of practicing and taking refuge in three jewels, and engaging in all kinds of spiritual path. And so not only that you are just conducive, but also it is, one can actualize those paths very swiftly. We have this ability as a human beings. We have this ability of actualizing the swift actualization of one's path, the spiritual path. It is because we have such a wonderful intelligence and the wisdom that we have, which will become a conducive, favorable condition for achievement of one's spiritual path. So therefore, Lama Tsongkhapa has stated, the precious human rebirth is the greater than the precious jewels, the hundreds and thousands of the precious jewels. Because the precious jewel, the ordinary precious jewels, it may help us it may provide us some kind of assistance for us in this lifetime alone, but this will not really help you for your future life, and it will not become a cause for achieving liberations and the state of enlightenment. So everything that we have, regardless of what kind of positions and what kind of wealth, name, and so forth that we may have, but when it comes to the future life, all the position that we have at this lifetime will not be able to help us, or will not be able to take all this along with us. So here now, therefore, Lama Tsongkhapa stated that it is extremely hard to accomplish this human rebirth. It is not easy at all. It is easy in terms of, it is difficult in terms of its cause of taking rebirth as a human beings. It's difficult in terms of its nature, and it's difficult in terms of its conditions. So therefore, he stated that it is just only this time that you have accomplished, you have received this, you have gained this human rebirth. Again, then he said, this will not last long. The human rebirth that you have found will not last long. It is a transient nature. It turns in from one moment to another moment. So it will disintegrate. So so therefore, one should not take any essence, consider any kind of mundane activities as something that is that provides us, and that actually enables us to achieve a meaningful life. Because as we have mentioned earlier, that regardless of what kind of positions, name, fame, and so on and so forth that we may have in this lifetime, when it comes to the future life, death afterlife, you will not be take any of this along with oneself. So therefore, Lama Tsongkhapa stated that Nyinsen Kundu, that day and night one must make an effort in 24 hours of time, do something that is beneficial to one's future life. Put an effort to do something that is beneficial for one's future life. He then concluded by saying that I, yogi who have undertaken such practice, so those of you who long to achieve liberation must do the same. So by keeping this in mind, one should then follow the practice.
Yeah. 아니 맞지 오늘 뭐 연구를 다 있나야 단다 당주지 때인데 니 가위미 김선라 아니 지금 넘버 답이 제조 제조 버드신 뭐 두고 조제 물론 좀 매번 찬제네 아니 미지와 랭고요래 단다 가르서 줄라 지금 넘버 답을 가래 지제나 갈래 가고요래 버드신 뭐 두고 조제는 버신 두고 Jimbani Sheriji Parso Kandi Susu Chena Ranglo Kotu Major Yinsa Susu Haku. Tiden Monum Kandi Jagayu. Marasi Monum Jana, Chi Kazam Sexam Das Mato Yingon Ribi Tene, Monum Jaya Kawinguyore. Tene Yinsa Tijaga Kone, any near Kaya Ju Kone near Kalu Tendete. Mo Kone Monto Lami Combanse, Lada Mi Combanse on you. Then Yandali Chaverton Pabe and Lucienza work on Yakawayore. Then Yakawayo and Nightingale Lawat so met on the Shutari Motanere. Then the thing on the Shagin over there, politician but took Ching the Jaroshis. The one I think Ninjete Kitchen which I can do teaching Sheroshis and the Ishayagi Jindo the Tinere. I think as a modern bitch, Mare. Yeah.
So now let's talk about how difficult to achieve this human rebirth in terms of its cause. So here the actual cause for giving rise to our human rebirth is a thorough observation of moral conduct. Sutim number daba. And then this is then be supported by the practice of 6 perfections and supplemented by the pure aspirations or the pure prayers. So those are the cause of taking rebirth in a human realm as a human being. So now, if we were to look at ourselves, analyze ourselves to see whether we have we are observing our morality very purely at this point. If you really examine yourself by reflecting upon the observation of one's own morality, I think it is pretty difficult for us to find in any one of us the impeccability of the morality is not possible for all of us. So then, similarly, if you look at ourselves and examine the practice of 6 perfections, we know our practice, right? Because our mind is not obscure for oneself. one's mind is not obscure for oneself. And we know what kind of practice that we do and how pure our practices are and so forth. We can examine ourselves and see, do we really have those causes for giving rise to human rebirth in our future life? And then similarly, one can also examine the prayers, the pure aspirations or the prayers. Our prayers and dedications are most of the time, it's a mere word. So if you look at those, cause of our rebirth, it is very difficult for us to accomplish those causes. So then similarly, it is difficult in terms of its nature. Normally, in the six realms, the state of human rebirth, state of human and deva is said to be the most superior than the other rebirth, other forms of rebirth in the cyclic existence. So, so therefore now, as requested by the disciples, the teachings, the subject matter of the teachings today will be given on the six perfections. This is what I was requested, six perfections, and then particularly the compassion is something that is very important. So we will be talking, we will be focusing, concentrating on the teachings of the six perfections and compassion.
Yeah. 당간수 진바 생원도 에너지 동외 셈바치 그꾼네라네 동섬 야호시제네 네 진바 당고요래 당외 셈바티 야호시 여바이나 간절 따야트베 시호시 mam부요래 라자는 토요 말에 가리요르세는 말한수 네 대사가 네르 롱주 ane tuyusum de sabi kiwi tsawa o tije di kanga pege tangchogo yore. Chesa jimba sengen de tongwe semba koran jimbe ngola jaga yore, tongsam de. Tene lu longcho geza la soba tuso tangya ke zeye tere. Ane tu pege tangsa yore chikche ne sum che yungo yore. Tensa nge lama chewe toni ma ngoto shuja na shuma chura se lama chewe na tagi na tensa majewa che ne tsika kawa la tene tonji nyembo nyamsu lengwa re songo yore. Tsika ching lo lan doya da chi kyo ya chi me na tonda chibo she yawa ye na jendo gore, lamsa jendo gore. Ote majewa tonda la lama chewe na ni ma ngoto shugo ye. ene lama chewe nala lu tang nongshue tusum geso chi semche raran dobe ngoye jo te chame tongsum pewe manga ki jimbe parchen zobar chenji lao sene. Tanya ke zete la lu tang nongshue tang tusum sabe gewe zawa te che te res. Semche raran dobe ngoye jo te se te ke chimbo yore. Ngara su mendo chimbo ye na karin dogo yore se na ngara su doyate chi pudang pomo la soba tang, choma tang, ene nor tang, an kamba la soba tang, ta tindigi nganzu mi longche ya tije ten dogo yore. Tije gan dobe ngobo ti ngor juni tangi ina, ene puke tangsa ga yote la pento chaya yungo yore. Tene tunu dawa jena lenshan timumpi pone, shere meba jene, landur jene la mone, de yore. Ene lu longche keso la soba tiso te, ene lingin chebe sherep, ganzu jambi yunga sherep don la soba tindi yorwa, o tindi tang, ene Koran sula chi lula sadanda tiniki tungar mamu shingor wate so ngola yone tunru tije la kari ke pengandu wate saundane tunru tungar kari yo wate haku wache kunzu semla kari ndogo yo wate puke saundane ene rangi tuyusumdu sabi gewe tsawa lulonshu kuya ndobi ngoba ti ngola pa yone Korana tana di pento chea yungu yore. Yedang zhawu xe na zhe xiang gom na be hali ya zhe gom pu dungar mabu yore. Tela chik saya tang thongya tang dinti ka ngowa che na be kawa mabu la be saya thongya mara na be kobi na na member tenga tini yore. Watu so la pa chik zhaw dunga namba chen che ne zhe ka yinam, tanga yinam ina te pento che wanda re. 다나 지금 여원도 오신 분이나 내 산에 장에 두서라다 사정의 동을 요래. 르칭 멤버 등을 두서라 장에 넘버 전전에 세고 내 말로 소와 정게이나 되고 요래. 장에 오신나 조에 넘버 전 륜차리 때문에 배 차버도 언제 등을 두서라 조에 넘버 전전에 세고 가든 나티 정게이나 되네. Tene lama yinla tan tabzu ku dunga yore, tabzu pa shindu yage, ganga pa shiden tawa chene, ya goshi yunga yage. Mulum jeb, jima tanga yinla tene re. Ene lala ne tan chimbo tongwe dunga se. La senga tene chiye sadu, chiye wate haku ku yore, ene shindu wate ta ngundu cho yunga re, mato te parula, kawa mabu kari dewa yina, lai dewa longi chene, tuso kandindo haku yomare. 단 체례송세는 치대 보용도 르라 잡아차 연구요래 근데 그게 하이 부모님도 제사 용멘도서 어디다 콜 치대 보셔서는 매도도 되는 타랑 부분이 여기네 다 저런 생디 맞이 저런 실현하셔서는 틀을 여러 개 말해 근데 흔도도 가와지근도 되나 마제도 마송송 맞지노게 기회자와 연구 감각을 놓지 차네 Anything la consumer segure. Umakania chiva yimba. Tata lute, shini kawachi yobo, what the sumba the hakuyor. Consuming a consumba and the meat tagayor. What the niggy chibo tomi, don't to so that tayagi page. Mulum da gets up to tangina, pembuyori. That the tomi captella, Marasu, energy, counter kain. 다음에 카도 때라 딱 꿀로에 호시 거래 단지 샘제 쉬바 나진 게 남친 돈이지 전돈 들으면 선배고네 애는 때다 때라 네 정게 인생네 그냥 돈으로 오지 세카 간진 뭐였나 남친 돈이지 전돈 들으면 선배고네 애는 콜 때바였나 다소수 진바 문에 저기 요래 넘버 탐진 준비 히토비 쳐도 그 제요리 파쇼텔레 펜버자신 보요리 수수 진바 신종 제레다네 이네티 야첨부 찬도 요리 넘버 탐진 준비 히토비 쳐도 진게 인사디 세카이 간 진보이나 디 넘버 멤버 제베티 말해서 최송 투고요 말이 셋네바 요리 그 가에서는 승전 탐지 민의위 년대 랑고비 체도 라는 장주 통나세네 너번이 된지 장주 생원도 주네 근데 지마테 되어요래 장주 그 생원을 선비 진빈 생실을 뜻이야요래 남전 돈이지 전돈 두레베 선비고네 근데 플러스 업 대인자 유 간디도 땅거여베나 순전 간디지 땅거여베나 다음에 제대 어떤 리지는 봐. 근데 대야 당사가 유다 동kan ranye ta towe zete ya daadu madhava daa mewa Denver Matrova, Korsum Ranji Matrova, Tobe Gone, that Tomato in a Tembekun. Jiag Zetia Korangan to Devachi Mari, Jinken Rania, Rangun to David Da, Ransambachi Mari, Jensa Yun Sunjentia, Korasuju and Jella to the Mijan Tayo Samchimato, Tindigi Mare Samne, Jimbin Korsum number Tavegone, Jimbatamaina, Da Ranjan Ikala Pento Chimbuyori, ya.
So now let's begin with this our practice of giving, right? Since we will be today, we will be concentrating on receiving the teachings on six perfections, which out of six perfection, the first perfection of taking giving will be the first. So we will concentrate on this first. So what is meant by practice of generosity, in other words, or practice of giving, right? Practice of giving is the genuine wish to giving away something to someone. That is not actual, not the substance that is giving away, and not the agent who is actually giving this, is the actual practice of giving. But the actual practice of giving is the mind, or the wish, the genuine wish that you have cultivated, which is the genuine wish to giving away, that you are belonging to others. That is what is meant by what is meant by the nature of our, the practice of generosity or the giving. So now here, when speaking about this, practice of giving, we have many different ways of giving, engaging in the practice of giving. It is, all the place where we are in, and one's own body, one's resources, and all those, the root of our virtue that we have accumulated for uh, uh, for for 3 times, accumulation of one's the virtue of 3 times can be, given to the other beings. So all those one's body belongings and one's virtues of the 3 times can be imagined and transforming into a different, substances, and giving away to other beings. Whatever that is needed by other beings can be given. So so here now, it is, good to focus our practice of giving, the today's teachings on the giving. If we can follow the Lama Chöpa, the reviewing the stages on the path, where we are all familiar with, right? So the reviewing the stages on the path. So if you can look at those, the verse of six perfection, practice of six perfections, on the reviewing stages on the path, it says "Ludong Loji Dusum Gesochi," where it says, we seek your blessings to complete the perfection of generosity through the guidelines, teachings for the enhancing the mind that gives without attachment, right? And namely, transforming our bodies, wealth, and collections of the virtue over 3 times into the objects desired by each and every sentient beings. So all of your, and you are transforming all those, transforming all the bodies, wealth, and collections of the virtue of three times into, into the objects desired by each and every sentient beings. Everything that you have, what is desired by other sentient beings, such as fooding, shelter, wealth, companionships, and so forth. All your wealth and bodies and your virtues of three times are transforming into that particular substances of giving, and giving away to all those beings whatever they needed. So this is how you how one should imagine when one is engaging in this practice of giving, or practice of generosity. To the human beings, thinking about giving away all those, one's resources, shelters, fooding, companionships, and so forth. And then other beings such as animals who are actually deprived of intelligence, who have no wisdoms um, to engage in the path what is to be abandoned and what is to be accomplished. So therefore, think about all those your resources, and your collections of the your wealth and collections of the virtue of three times. Imagining in the form of wisdoms, and giving this wisdom to those animals, such as this seven kinds of wisdoms and so forth, so that they can have these wisdoms and intelligence to be able to embark on the path what is to be abandoned, and to be able to recognize what is to be abandoned and what is to be accomplished. And then think about you know everything that that animals needed for, imagining that all your belongings in the form of, if they need a clothing, in the form of imagining the clothes, and if they need a heat, imagining that's at the heat, and if you need a cold, and so on and so forth. Whatever the sufferings they may have, imagining that all your wealth and collections of the virtue of the three times are transforming into that substances and giving to all sentient beings, and that's just very, very beneficial. And also think about, and also one can also think about the suffering of the preta realms, the preta beings, right, who are deprived of, who are actually lack of, who are actually undergoing a tremendous amount of suffering of hunger and thirst. And for them, imagining that all of your those wealth and collection of virtue over three times in the form of food and water and so on and so forth, and giving away to them, and imagining that overcoming the suffering of those preta beings. And then one can also think about the suffering of hell beings, such as hot hell beings, hell beings who are undergoing suffering in the hot hell, and who are undergoing suffering of hell beings who are undergoing suffering of the cold and so forth, are also received both heat and the cold to overcome who are undergoing suffering of heat is overcome their heats, and who are hot and who are undergoing suffering of the extreme cold are overcome their colds and receiving this warmth and so forth. So then also think about the demigods who are undergoing, remaining under the domination of the battle. So then also they think about all of this, your resources are becoming in the remedy of all those battles, and abiding in the peace. They're able to utilize their life in a peaceful manners. And then also think about the deva, the god, the beings in the god realms who are also having a tremendous amount of suffering of shivevidumya, which is, uh, the suffering of death. In the beginning, at the time when they take rebirth in the Deva realms, they are completely showered by the luxuries, and they will not really think about what is going to happen to them. They will never ever think about the death. That will only They will only reminded by death when death is, you know, about to come, when it is about to manifest. Then only they realize that they will be, undergoing death, suffering of death, and then at that time they will have a sign of death, which their body will have stains and smells bad and so forth. So then all other fellow you know the devas will not come closer to them, because by saying that there's such and such individual is now having a sign of death and so forth, so they will not even go closer to that person and that deva and so forth. So therefore everything now, then they, because they know where they are going to take a rebirth, what kind of rebirth they may take, such as lower realms and so forth, because all of those virtues that they have accumulated in the past have been already exhausted by taking rebirth in the god realms. So they all exhausted, and now only thing that the rebirth that they will take is in the lower realms. By seeing that, they will be completely agonized by seeing such possibility of taking rebirth in such realms. So therefore, the gods will actually know from where they come and what kind of rebirth they have and what kind of rebirth they will have in the future. So they are also known as Kapsamba, which is who knows about the three things about where they come from, and what kind of rebirth they will have, and what kind of birth that lifestyle they have, and so forth. So uh, so now, when engaging in such a practice of giving, the practice of giving must be conjoined with appropriate motivations. Appropriate motivations referring to that you are longing to achieve state of omniscience, and that longing to achieve state of omniscience must be very strong. And your practice of giving, your thought of giving things must be conjoined, or must be actually affiliated strongly with uh, the thought of achieving state of omniscience minds, and then engage in the practice of generosity. So this will then said to be a very the supreme practice of generosity. So so this is how one should engage in the practice of generosity. When one engages in the practice of generosity, making sure that your practice of generosity must be supported by this two aspirations that we talked about earlier. The two aspiration to working for the welfare of other beings, aspiration to attain state of enlightenment. With this kind of aspirations, one must engage in the practice of giving. So then, similarly, then the last thing that is most important part is now thinking about uh, uh, the uh, the uh, the object to whom you're giving, and the substance is the object that is to be given, and then the individual, the agent, the actor, or the practitioner who's actually engaging in the practice. So those are the three things are also, if possible, one should uh, one should engage in the practice of generosity by realizing the selflessness of lack of intrinsic existence, or lack of an inherent existence of those three, of of giver, substances of giving, and then the object to whom you are giving, are also lack of inherent existence and so forth. If possible, if not, that is not, but one should at least have remembered one should actually remember by this non-inherent existence of those three things. And if you are able to do one's practice of, uh, of generosity with this kind of, in conjunction with this kind of practices, will then be, greatly benefited for oneself and others.
Yeah, the Galata Gomulutu Umarinja Tawani Somba Najingi, Inji me was there to turn it, Dungata, Trendutan, Dungatan, Jamdoku, Inji me was there to turn it, and the consummate of it, Dungata yet Tamusu let. And it the other Dendoku Chambi me was there to turn it, and the power down it. Dala da ding mention dage mali teme show se tsingi matayo mare. Dala da ding mention se dala simchen tam she ke mendevi dunga juda shiva tamje ngal member show sen. Ala tuisun du sabi gesa lulong je kare yo bati. Ani simchen tamje dewa da dendo ku jambi ku nelane pa tambayina. Ani ngal uk sul lendu yinji miwa tseto ni sul le. Part andu jambi mi was at and part on or teaching online chain yamle chayore. Dana sing a jawasa the chiva tamjalaya, chuba pure to so kanga, die jimbasayore, ya control pure tele, jimbasayore. In the metal kanchi, Sanjela puna, ti sonamji pombo, saison took maris. Sanjega saison took maris on your. Tindi cho yachimushi sa tuba di gari rese na di danji shuya digi. Simchen tamche ke dundu lana mebi chanchib tomda chi maro nyamne di che du piwa yinza simchen ke chanda nyambi sonum simchen la tse mewa na jengi sonum ji pumbo la ya tse mewa dindi yoris. Nga su kuno dindi mewa chene meto mogo da tabe chi maa tashu chi piwa yina. Kuno samba ya huchi mena da pipi paya tsamji yore mato, tindi jachimu yungu marwa. Chesa to chea de rangi simgi, pipi kuno dan, pindo dan, di huchi sam tamba yina, pipi mazi pindo chimu yungu yore. Ojinza ya kunjo la jimba, maa simjin la jimba, o tindi chini kanga la jimba se yore. Da tindi jinya ke zete la macha pati ki chimbu yore. Chasam yobe ngani piwa ina ya tindi pento yungo mar. Ani chasam mewa chen pi kuwa sungu yore ya.
So the essence of the Madhyamaka by Nagarjuna has stated that it says that by manifesting this the practice of compassion, which is focusing completely upon the freeing the suffering, wishing to the genuine wish to freeing all suffering of all sentient beings, and not only that, wishing to freeing sentient beings, suffering of sentient beings, but also having a genuine wish to protecting sentient beings from their sufferings, and imagining that taking all the suffering of other beings upon oneself, and similarly thinking about by concentrating on the practice of love and giving away all those happiness and blissful experiences that you may have, and giving away to other beings, and imagining having a genuine wish of wishing happiness upon other sentient beings. So in other words, it says all the sufferings of sentient beings must be wrapping upon myself. May I take the suffering of all sentient beings upon myself, and may all those happiness and resources and the collections, the wealth and collections of the virtues of three times uh, uh, must be, given to the other sentient beings. So, for the happiness of other sentient beings, if you are able to do this uh, with along with the breathing exercise, the breathing circles, breathing in and out. When you are breathing in, imagining that you are taking the suffering of all other sentient beings. When you are breathing out, imagine that giving that providing all those happiness to other sentient beings. In similarly, one can also imagine that giving making an offering to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. This is also one form of practice of generosity. Even if you have one single stalk of piece of flower, imagining that you are giving this to making an offering to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and the merits that you have accumulated by that means is said to be an inconceivable. It cannot be. It is inconceivable merit. Merit can be accomplished by means of this practice, and so why one is able to accumulate that inconceivable merits of by engaging in such practice is because your motivation is to engaging in those practice is solely to achieve unsurpassable state of enlightenment. For that purpose, you're engaging in this practice. So therefore, the motivation that you have is inconceivable. And based on the motivation, inconceivable motivation that you have, which is attaining state of unsurpassable state of enlightenment, for that purpose, I'm engaging in this practice. And similarly, as a result of this motivations, one will also accumulate inconceivable, merits and virtue. So with this kind of, motivations, if one engages in such a practice, will then really become beneficial, and one can engage in the practice of generosity, giving to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. One can also engage in the practice of giving to other sentient beings. But then here, the most important part one need to understand, one need to, remember that one essential part is to, when engaging in such a practice of generosity, one must engage in such a practice of generosity without any attachment to any substances that is being given to others.
야, 따뜻해 지름 때라 소들 장숨 상아 동바이 진성 속이셔야 무동시 계주도던 순전 돈주비 지름 버전 쪽을 진지 라오선 소들지 동바생활 딱 계속으로이나 소들지 동바 제부요래 말아서 진바솔라 소들 동바생활인데 다 매개 주본 거 지름디 딱 가불 내람 주선에 지어시마 원도라미 공부터비 주조치다 가불 내람 주선에 매개 주본 거 지름들 소주 bomba 마실은 bomba 로엔 bomba 준체마 bomba지 되네 준 참아치수 가지르지 나슴 노슴 로다치네 어디 주부들은 매개 주세요래 대부분들은 개와 개회래는 주세 개회래는 주부들 때는 렌즈 공부도 그요래 매개회래는 주부들 때는 뭐 안성성의 지역에 나별 남세요래 어디 당가서 강에 냠는 지고요 대하고 송고요 대가라 자주 선배 넘어 생원도 다 맞아 남주 다도 jamais je ne m'intéresse. Tenez-moi, je ne sais pas. 네, 조제시 뭐요. 다가도이나지 계전에 시에용도 라라 또란도 따네 달아야 또바다 디쇼라 젤마 메라 파야지요. 다때 다도 야메스 라라 또 젤마 메바티 네 자주선비 자동 장례제가요. 양다도 또바다 젤마 메바 짬마레 미게 오네 강군 모사 참에 군주이시세네 군주이시가 참여거네 가신 쪼신 인고를 비타는 배신지 쫀조이나 다 자동도 연구요래 배 가신 쪼신 모사 참에가 전에 소소시로 되게나 되는 연구요래 나도 재미 되네 최다 놀 메테와 제때 어버지 마테바이나 되네 전놀 메테다 나도 재미 전놀 메테 네 control 최봉 문조 참명하다 노다 중선죠 마장 돈이 된다 조장도 서들본다 님은 사주마 조선 권론 책면 체서도 네 준도 말로가사 어떻게 교정도 준도 말로
참에 좀 조선 공격
야야 근데 비슷해요
전멸멘탈
키요
단도시는 공격 거죠. 세명은 나오죠. 마장 돈이 더 조장도
마장 조사단다 돈이
마장
된다
돈이 된다 조장도
조상도 다래 마장 돈이 된다 조상 서들본다 님은 사주마 조선 권론 조선 권론 책면 체서도 님은 메타 준도 말로 때다 이 말만 된다 님은 메타 준도 말로다 강원 모사 때문에 군주 예스 창고 주루세 대한제 그 주루부터라 강골 모사 참매제 창고요. 레스 딜리지엄베타 로타 세리 추요 말이 네 렌데요 말이 센 로타 텔라 네 군주지 창고요 말이 다가 나중에 다 장주고 선생님들 자신을 쉬우지는 장주고 선생님은 제투서 말이 센네 뭐 장주고 선생님 로중 제가요나 다 장주고 선생님도 봐 유자와이나 대로전체 도구문도세네 돌아이나 아니 군주시 마산나야 고자동 정도고요. 디디 먼저 디제디 바 동전도 같은데 생각 내부치 tem나야고요. 되네 상어그 동바텔라가 라마님 라제체스 아니 분라 존주 지 로라 점바 파스레 라마트 바치라 최신의 강가를 타는데 라모랑스 말이 지원골 주시 마는 것이 들어 와신의 진도세나 배랑사 용도지와 말이 그것이 지네 그리그리에서네 소소 wanted 슈차소나 에너지 데버텐 투어도지 그게 뒤에 세상 데모도지 드니나 다 쉬자고 있네요 말 데모인버지 지 나간두세디 중도 완슈 슈타도 에너지를 만두세네 견주어이나 라마니에마 에네 막 자동용고요 근데 라자테 하고요 고게 봐 체드세네 가요 말씀잖아 다시 체스리 뒤는 당한테 용이 체시질라 불러 견주세야 돼 라마 찍기 짜네 이듬 찍기 진골고 나라 이니 와슈 양에 조버티지텔라 学着这个多几本这个多几本着是。我听这个没进了，说是坚决不行了，多几本了坚决的咋动？这俺这娘你钱不要的，我听的什么年头呢？那咋动忙叫些给钱不要的，本了坚决，若了讲不办事，时间紧没事干呢，可能那别个讲不起个门的。另外在等到个落几个门是怕比不赢了，落了讲不帮谁个能够要的，甚至刚刚的帮个谁过嘛的，甚至没事进了吧，如果做钱的，可能那俺等下等到个上班帮个上班几个门谁赢了，落了讲不帮嘛的这个要的，
我就生着，
我的，那么你们那些就是本来全落了讲不帮，我就生动生多了。他没什么就是你等于多点的，三个去了，两个去了没事，然多的砸钱不的，我的等于这些呢，两个去了吧，也要钱呢，钱呢，你不用个要的，慢慢上着是，你别个对象慢慢看见了，当然只能就上网找我现在写这个要了哇。我这是对徐不人，这里东北乱不一些呢，生活着我这里，慢慢上着，让个婆婆也是，让个婆婆也是在吃了吧，就是没得话听这个路了搞得点呢，谁以后嘛这个去，东莞以后嘛东莞去，路路以后嘛过么去，过没过去，路了跳了手，你到工这那边。这些年这个团的呀，可能是现在特别个，特别是点个样的。我就是觉得俺是那么上有解决我妈的事，俺是女的担心我的时候呢，就特别等一些人那个老不得，健身去，在那边都可以读书也会去，这车上不用我也跟别人去过了嘛多，那得了，这解决那个碰碰研究没得事。但那东北人帮对象找我点事，东北人到我帮呢，打干啥打的出去打油吧，等你开来呢，结果那些钱等你没有钱，那对象找我，这个另外个他你刚刚被没给交了多点没等你了，找不点呢，想不起来那说呀，第你把都是我钱的，不如是了，说另外个交不点以后没个抢着的，这现在会等就没事，到我每天打点上学的事，那么上一边到我点钟到我站的没这么些。ini tiri chijima tawa tenshonga tawa yani yanta tengwasi. Taten samsun jinsi. Rāla teba yonga chigla, chiwa ngambu tenche ne, ini yanta ke teba sunshong jana, tela tene yang nipa yonga yori. Taten samsun jinsi. Tamsik mente pume momba desi. Yang pume sangante sanga kausu, chigi choka chila tene nipa do jowa ina ya, zaton chungu yoma. Pume chila tene, pume sangante tela ane nipa nini yori sene, chila kuwa tawa ina, ane pume la chunjobe, ane zaton yungu yori. Pume momba desi, ane zaton chuji sotan doyde songo sene, zaton chuji shiri yori wa. 我直接是打给全部人，讲起身边同胞，讲三个同胞，那俺就南京那个同胞得了，弄了所谓的话人呢，当时同胞就个些个我这是，这就整个节目呢， Any kind 다시 예두를 마도 텐데 두두두두로 되네. 사도 마저마 예나. 기와 le 망고와. 내가는 뭐 자주 또 그래 송고요. 페이지 같은 데 송고요. 어디서 그거 돌리지 않았다. 아니 좀 송야 되는지 야.
So next, we will be we're focusing on the practice of morality, right? So practice of morality here now, as it is stated in the Shincho Dambaiken, the reviewing the stages on the path, where it is stated Sotar Jansim Sangha Dombai. Shesam Soki Chinam Nidanshi Keche did the Singleton Sudan Passions over Chingilo. So here it explains, it translates that we seek your blessings to complete the perfection of moral discipline, of working for the sake of sentient beings, enacting the virtuous deeds, and not transgressing the bounds of the pratimoksha, bodhicitta, tantric vows, even at the cost of our lives. So now, when it talks about the different kinds of the morality that one need to observe, beginning from pratimoksha, sotar tomba, which means pratimoksha is referring for the individual liberations, the morality of individual liberations, and then morality of individual liberations, and then and morality of bodhicitta, and then tantric, the vows of the tantrics, vows of tantra. So this should be, observed very carefully. When it comes, the first it begins with the Sotargidomba, which is referring to the 10 non-virtuous actions. 10 non-virtuous actions, which is the 3 from body, 4 from the speech, and then the 3 from the 3 from one's mind. So those are the 10 non-virtuous actions that one need to abandon, such as from the bodies, Sokje power, abandoning the act of killing, Majimba Lemba power, which means abandoning the act of stealing, and then abandoning the act of indulging in sexual misconduct. Those are referring to the 3 from the body, and the 4 from the speech, abandoning the act of telling lies, abandoning the act of slandering, act of using harsh words, and indulging in idle gossip. And 3 from mind, it is abandoning the act of being covetous, and abandoning the act of harming others, and then upholding wrong views, lokta. So those are the 10 non-virtuous actions that one need to abandon, and then engage in the observation of the opposite of those 10 non-virtuous actions, which is the 10 virtuous actions, engaging in the conduct of the 10 virtuous conduct. So this is the first what do you call the Soto-Ikidomba, which is the Pratimoksha. And so this, at the result of engaging in such practice and observing those moralities, one will be able to achieve a high rebirth. And then next, the vows of the bodhisattva, the bodhisattva vows, bodhisattva. Here, it begins from, if you are familiar with the succession Guru Yoga, so then you'll be able to follow those, are very, clearly mentioned in that, praising self and validating others, right? Validating others and praising oneself, and then not sharing one's wealth or the Dharma, not forgiving even if others apologize, and doubting that, doubting and denying Mahayana and taking offerings intended for the triple gem, abandoning the Dharma through, sectarism, abandoning the Dharma, in other words, and disrobing monks or nuns, and committing the 5 heinous crime, saminga, and holding distorted views, and destroying places such as towns and so forth, and keeping voidness to those untrained, in other words, who are not suitable to be given such a teachings of voidness or the emptiness, and discouraging others from full enlightenment, causing others to break pratimoksha vows, validating those who follow, Hinayana vehicle, and proclaiming false realization of voidness, accepting gift of what has been seized from the triple gem, and passing, false judgment, giving a bodhicitta. So those are the 18 root downfalls. And it says, not regarding this as detrimentals, not forsaking the wish to repeat such behaviors. So, and delighting the taking pleasure in them and having the shame or that, considerations are the 4 binding factors that must all be present for the 16 of this to be complete. So now, here it is one doing this, and then when it comes to the the tantric vows, then there are also a numerous vows that one need to observe, which is also belongs to the to the practice of morality, despising or validating one's guru, and disregarding any practice, and speaking badly of one's Vajra brothers. This is very likely to happen to all of us, speaking badly of one's Vajra brothers. And so the speaking badly of the Vajra brothers, they're referring to the that from whom that you have received the initiations also as a disciples together. If you have a group of disciples who received this initiations empowerment from one's guru, then whoever that has participated in this to receive this initiations is considered to be at the Vajra brothers. So you should not be speaking badly about that. And sorry about the first one, despising and battling one's guru, and here now is not referring to whoever is teaching, giving the teachings of the Dharma should be considered as a one's guru, and particularly that when someone says that such and such guru is there and giving initiations, and you simply just go there and participate in receiving the initiation is not appropriate. It is not the right way to do it. So one should, carefully, make a right decision to receive those teachings, and particular of initiations from the gurus, making sure the guru is bona fide or fully qualified to give such teachings and so forth. And then even abandoning love for any beings. There's giving up love and giving up wishing and generating bodhicitta. So two kinds of bodhicitta, wishing, monjuk samtong, which means giving up wishing and generating bodhicitta. Which means the scrolling the teachings of the Sutta and Tantra. Okay, which means that you may say that Sutra is better than Tantra, and Tantra is more supreme than Sutra, and so on and so forth. So you should not scorn the teachings of those two, and revealing the secret to those who are unripe, Mame and then which is then Pungbunye, abusing one's own aggregates. So which is, putting a lot of, hardships on one's own body is not appropriate in the tantric practices. And so, there are other, non-Buddhist, the practice of ancient India, where they, stress a lot of, hardship upon one's own body, so physical aggregates for the sake of receiving, for the sake of gaining liberation and so on and so forth. However, when it comes to the Dharma practice, Buddha Dharma, this kind of practice, ecstaticism, the practice of ecstaticism and, putting hardship upon one's body is completely, forbidden. Completely, not appropriate at all. So denying or the doubting voidness, or you're denying emptiness or having a doubt, and remaining close to, negative, companionships. In other words, it is malevolent people. In other words, you should not be associating with people who are, really likely to engaging in all kind of negative deeds and so forth. So that is what is meant. And then not recollecting the view of voidness, and then causing someone to lose their faith, and not upholding the word of honor, despising women. So here now, despising women is again one of the, it falls into one of the category of the root tantric vows. So when one should never ever, despise women in general. Of course, you may say something bad about, the particular woman and so on and so forth, but we should not, in general, we should not really say bad about women or criticize women or the despising women in general, in other words. So these are the 14 root tantric downfalls. And so along with that, then we are also familiar with all those other tantric vows of, in association with the 5 Dhyani Buddhas, such as the vows regarding Vairocana, Akshobhya, Amitabha, Amoghasiddhi, Ratnasambhava, and so forth. So those are all the vows that one need to observe when it comes to the observation of morality.
Yeah, that Zobala comes from Jagu Malin Trade, the Xixian Sandru, Deishan Soju Jiang, Mundu Nolan Pamba Dushi be Zovi Patients over changing laws. Come some said in Dokam and this will come Zume Kamge, and this Simchan Tamche Jigu be Trene. Shishang said by Sheshe Tane, Jurang Pawa Amatene, by Jurang Rig Rusen be, my major and be Sheshe Tang, Soundche. And it did Deishans, Dutch Shuban Tenije, Thomas Soja in us. Soja Muntu Nolan, Pamba Dushi, Bay, Zobi Persons over Shinja loves. Then the candidate of Jeva in Naya, some Montu Vachene, some of Control Machi Vachene. Any Tella Papentaya. Muntu Nolan, Pamba Dushi, Pamba Dushi, Zobi Persons and 다 너젤 지민냠비 소바성 든디 사례 다때 먼저 지다 소바다 코로니 버티게 에네 페여다 님에게 오시 히바이나 에네 컨트롤라 님부 텐토고요 컨트롤다 조비 페여다 님에 마시바이나 카툴라가 컨트롤 사면서 사운드 갈타마이나 컨트롤 카투고요 말이에요. Zobo Gombayana Karakum Yoresena, Zobin Zeshan Kiwa Tambalas, Zobo Gongang Meti, Zebushu Yores. Zebu said, Chi Don Chi Mabuno, Kabuno, Tindigichi, Zebu Sagayomar. Kaza Sundawajin Tona, Zobo Gomgang Meti, Yitu Watch, Tonin Dobuchi. Or Yitu watching or telling Zeshan, Zobin Zeshan. Jiwo Tambalas, call the Jiwo Tambasing mean the Togres, Zubin says, Jiwo Tamba. Pantan looked at Lumenki was Pembatam, Novi Chawakanga, and the cool sometimes do or the Hakures, Pandan Lumenki. Cable Jushan tea water nest, cable chagare, and tea water, Lamichita, it was seven Jerusalem. Zobe Passion Gitene, Zobe Duduchi, Somatindia.
So now next is the moral that is patience. Or the practice of the patience. This is again, we will be following the explanation of the patience in accordance with the stages on the path. So reviewing the stages on the path, which is something in Lamajava. So here, reviewing the stages on the path, where it says, Kamsum kege mali tögürte. Sheshin changdo dikshin sochi, midonela pemru sobe passion sober chingilop. Should even the merit beings of the three realms, without exceptions, become angry at us, humiliate, criticize, threaten, or even kill us, he says, we seek your blessing to complete the perfection of patience, not to be distraught, but to work for the benefit in response to their harm. So this particular stanza mainly referring to the patience of not retaliating towards, not engaging in any retaliations towards someone who inflict harm upon oneself, right? So this is this particular stanza, actually stressing on this particular practice of patience. And now the three in this three realms, it talks about three realms. So the should even the merit beings of the three realms without exceptions. Three realms here referring to the come, which are the desire realms. Sukam is the form realms, and Zugmekam is the formless realms. Even all those beings, without exception, become angry at oneself, humiliate and criticize, threaten, or even to kill us. I seek your blessing to complete the perfection of my patience, of the practice of my patience, not to be destroyed. In other words, do not get angry in response to their, negative actions, but to work for the benefit of benefit to their harm. So, so here now, when it comes to the practice of patience, it is very important to understand the faults of anger, and the benefits of the practice of patience. If you're able to understand the faults, what kind of faults they are, well, shortcoming of our, angers and the benefit that we may gain out of engaging in practice of patience, then whenever whenever you see that yourself in a situation of about to getting angry, so you'll be able to prevent yourself from getting anger and so forth. Because without understanding the shortcoming of anger uh, and the benefits of the patience of the practice, then when the anger arises, you will not be able to prevent when this the the circumstances makes you angry, then you will not be able to uh, prevent yourself from generating those anger and furthering this anger and so forth. So therefore, understanding this benefits and the and the faults of the anger is very, very important. And similarly, it's that's very briefly mentioned in the Madhyamaka Avatar by Chandrakriti. Swebe zeshin kewa dampala pangdang ludang lumi shebala kever gyushin diwa tami kedang diwa sebrikyo. So briefly, roughly, I'll translate this one is that through patience you will be beautiful. And adorned by the holy beings, skillful in discerning the right and wrong. And discerning the right and the wrong, and thereafter, born as a human or God, you will exhaust evil. So this is if you are adorn yourself by the practice of this patience, so this is the benefit that you may gain out of that. So it's beautifully and briefly mentioned about the benefits of the practice of patience. Hello?
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tatini Control make the Latati Dojorwa. Madu Susan Tamba member T. So that to make it nation trousers. Trujin Chichua that Jimucho and Namju Banto. Mazupai knew to 100 Jews. And then Lamitia gets out and Tower to give it our TGT. And then Benjomne. And then Jiwashima Mandolma, Mason, Tigres. So that to make it nation trousers, Mazupai knew to 100 Jews, 100 my Tigres. 다 만들면 지사서는 되네 컨트롤 그 인자 그배 도리 되네 마산도 그래 되네 알레라 우리 타고 말아 컨트롤님이 되래 야
So then also the same text the Chantikritis Madhyamagavatara, where it's beautifully stated in one verse I can hear. Mido Sosa Jijin Damba Mimberti. Sudan Tumiship and Namje Tojijin. It says that it creates Mido Sosa Jijin Damba Mimberti, which is it creates an ugly body and leads to an unholy, in other words, Damba Mimberti. And Sudan Suminship and Namje Tojijin, and robbed of discerning, robbed of discriminating mind. Your discriminating mind will be snatched by this anger. It says, in other words, Tojijin, Mizupa Nudung and Kyorki. When the courage, the impatience will hurl you into, throw you into the lower realms, in other words. And patience, remedies the above the develops qualities. So this again talks about the shortcoming of our angers, because due to this angers, it will destroy all our root virtues that we have accumulated. It will destroy the cause of taking rebirth in a high realm such as human and devil realms, and also it will destroy the cause of liberation and state of enlightenment and so forth. So therefore it is also essential for one to understand and identify the shortcoming of this angers.
Yeah, Telanganji Namju, the day song to you. Transon Soba Mavi Luju. Transon Soba Mavi, Yaraka, Shinachi Nalia, Soba Gomchin, Soba Gong Mamuyore. You did do, Yuji Diavo, and they are Tosan La Pene. And then Yamdo, Peme Mambuchin Yayo. And the Relayayone, Divokale Kane, Alasu Niku. Then permitted it in a bond on the Tansu Soba Mawanjene. Tansu Soba Mavi Zobichu Shene, Zobo Gontan Shene. And the Jabo Yani Sayondu, and the Jemit Yakanga Yomari. The Medu, Jabo, the Lomoni Condrosane, the Conjo Condo in us, the Sandu, and the Tansu Soba Mavi, and it now dead. And Tansu Soba Mavi Chushiri. And Jabo Condrosane, Chu Karishiri, and Zobo Shiri. Chu Karu Gonguyas, and Zobo Gonguyas. Yeah, Chu Zobo Gonguena, Chu Lavach in the Kishu, Lavach Chajari. Chu Karu Gonguyas, Yanju, May Zobo Gonguyas sorry. So my then Lavach Chigi Chajar, Lavanika Chajar. Then Karu Gonguyas, Zobo Gonguas, and Kala Jikama Pajar. Pajadi, Churkam Gonguas, and May Zobo Gonguas, the motto Singamachi Sunguyomar. And the tea in La Zobo Gum Danging at the nature of Mambuyosa, the Yakanga Zundri Toji Shine, Zobo Kundole Chane, and Jura Zobo Gum the Bay Chi Sunjan Pento Tenichi Yori, in the Chura Galan, the Niching member Chone, giving the Nichi at the ta, and the Mansamba Move and the Nichi Chadi, the King Christian Chomaris. Chura Zobati, Zoban number Tawich Major Sene. Zomolia Sudi. Zomoy may Zovogum de number Tabachi Yina. Make Amalavacheja to Sukangaya, Ajuna Shinchenia. Any Yomashos. So what number Tabaji Mena, Cocheja Tara, Ya, Tumatuchinita, Ko Zovanamda Macha, the Chies and Tazumoy Zomoy Monum de Javdu. Congo in the child and shelter to so Kangaya, Hajun Najini, Yanjayong. Jayong de be Ching Satusu be Sayum Jebi Sorojan Trune. Any Jevo Tando Control Senebe Tando Ready Shem Tichedu, any Sangene, Yewitin Salma, Sange Katinanma Savais, Contra Yimik Tenichimu. What that so Namju Sonju or Teninore.
So, so with this, in relation to this practice of patience, I remember one short story about one of the great Indian meditator, great Indian yogis in India in ancient time, by the name of Dansong Sagarmawa. And when he was meditating and practicing the patience, meditating on patience in the middle of jungle, and at one day, the region's king were actually going out into the jungle along with his ministers and a lot of other companions, the female companions, along with him. And as they, as the time went by, and then King became a little bit tired, and he took a rest and took a little nap. At that time, the practitioner was nearby, and all those female companions were, approach this great practitioners who is engaging in practice of patience, and they're receiving the teachings from that meditator, yogi. But then when the king and the ministers, were awake, when they woke up, so all of their female companions were not nearby. So then they were both king and the minister were looking for their female companions furiously. But then they finally found all the female companions were receiving the teachings from those the yogi in the jungle. And so then King saw that yogi is giving the teachings to his female companions. King then asked the questions, what are you teaching to them? And then yogi replied, I'm teaching them, patience, how to practice patience. And what have you been doing? And he said, I've been engaging in the practice of patience and so forth. So if this is the case, then because King was so jealous and become so angry, he then said, if this is the case, then give me your one hand. And then yogi gave his one hand, and then King took out his sword, and then he cut his one arm. Still, what are you doing? And the yogi replied, I'm still engaging in practice of patience. And then King again asked, give me your another hand. And he gave his another hand. As he gave his another hand, he also cut his another hand. And he still keeps saying that I'm engaging in practice of patience. King still got so angry. And then not only that he cut his two arms, but also he cut his two legs as well. So now all his four limbs are completely cut. And so then there were other practitioners nearby, at that time. And then all of them came to the place where the yogi is meditating as in by means of their supernatural power. They came nearby. So then those other practitioners will just ask the practitioner the yogi by saying that, what are the causes and conditions for having such a horrible experience that you are having? You have been engaging in practice of patience for so many years. Now you're having this kind of experiences, the horrible experience. It's such an awful experience that you are having. What happened? What is the causes and condition for that? Then the yogi just replied that if my practice of patience are really perfect, and if I'm doing appropriate practice of patience, all my limbs that have been cut by the king may, come back and become as it were before. However, if my practice of patience are not perfect and not appropriate, and then it should remain as it is. So just as at the moment that he said that, then all his limbs are joined and become a normal, as he were, and that's so then, suddenly, then there have been the entire the region of that place were started shivering, shaking, just like an earthquake. You know, this the earth is actually shaken by earthquake. And then there were suddenly there, but still the king is still not satisfied, and his anger is still there, and still angry towards this yogi. And then it is just said that he even fell into a hole of into a very deep hole. The king was actually fall into a deep hole pitfall.
Yeah, tadi noche la chiminya mi soba sa tindire. Tene nganzo kondo chiya we gyundo we chik mundabe dunga chi chiya wandu ene dunga ti tane ya kondo chiya ngu yore. Tela dunga talen chi soba sa ne dunga kare chong song na ya tati yahu chong song jiwa ngama nge le mege wa chiya jabe ndrebi chi nga la men song tando kasi mundabe dunga yongyo na sho sa ne dunga tanto na jawa ena dunga tege kansa tel nuguyo mare. Ko digba sewe juchane jimen lamdu lunguyo re. Ene kate ene pige re dunga talan chejana tagare. Dunga yondu mundabe chen dunga pa puja jamne mundabe lo cheyongona ene kondu cheya chene ene yang ko chen membalan yunuyo re. Ko tanto lani tanto kasi yongyo na showa nga te jiwa shima panche dunga mero che na tanda da kari chong na shong nga dunga showa se ne tanto na jaya na dunga di yungo yo mara. Kasi dunga chi chenpo chika yin na chenchongo chong na teki tanto yo re. O ti dunga talang ka soba tere. Ta chola nga samchi soba se wante ta chi mintabi chi jenda wo kari chongpa yin na ya. Yachima shiwali soma najing, kati chuyosu yo nanan dala maga chishi che, kati chuyosu me nanan dala maga chishi che. Ko jinchi doji yongen shi na ko jin kari na chi tawgi chen pa doja na, maga o chen dedu samchu yongurwa, maga o chen dego mars. Kati chuyosu mengen shi yinba yinna ne, tako chuyosu mewa yinza, le re ta chiya yo mari samne, semlo teni pige 문제가 다 semtichik madena te tondo yore. Tidu 먼저 control 생각에 던지지. 근데 야야 때문에 control 생활도 지 고만부 지는 상로 다네. 근데 control 사사가 유 저어티 민네 다 냠래 강에 나는 저베 냠래 깔에 카슈레 되어래. 근데 저베 냠래 때 제발라 라는 너버 징행게 ene kaza chi ma shong na rang la tenen chambu chi nge rang la ro chi nge la ming ni sobo gong yo ma wa san je la ming ni go ban sobo gong yo ma wa chang sobo te la ming ni sobo gong ya se ke yo ma wa che za rang no che te ta chang ji su me nyam le ka shu te sobo yin za ti sobo te nge nge rang yu la sobo nyam le chi chu me te pu ge no che do de re de yo Tēlā kādiñ chē chōrāla tēne mē chōla sōbē ñamlēn chōng sōng mē kīwē xīnyē yīn pē chō chīwā chī yīn samdēn tēlā kūshab chīwā yīn nā tā sōsū chūgī sōba tē pē tēmbū sōba pūsūng sōba chāgī yōrē. Wā tē nām chō ngā sō sōng chōla pē rāwa tē ñamlēn kākhī tē sōba yīn sā tē chī chōngā tē rāwa tē yīn sā rāwa tēlā tēne mē chōla sōba tē tēn tē yō chōng wā rē samdēn. Eni pēkē kushib chē, tēnā wā pēn tā na, eni zōbē pāshē zōgō yō rē, yā tēnī chē rē.
Okay. So with this, we have briefly talked about the first practice of patience, which is usually which is the patience of not retaliating against someone who harms you. And the next practice for patience is which means voluntarily accepting the suffering. In other words, the patience of willingly enduring suffering. In other words, this is the next. So now, if you look at our cause of our, one of the cause of our anger is our suffering. When you undergo a lot of sufferings, that also causes our, causes generation of anger. So for that, instead of getting angry, if one voluntarily accepting those sufferings, the patience of, in other words, the patience of willingly enduring those sufferings, which is known as, transforming our, adverse circumstances into the aspect of the path, king and lamdalor. Those adverse circumstances are transforming yours by means of one's practice. One is able to transforming this into one's spiritual path. So, so here now, so this is the second level of, the practice of patience. And then third patience is Choling Ishigisabo, which is the patience of discriminative awareness of the Dharma. So with this here, there's one verse by the Shantideva. It says, which means if something that is to be fixed, why worry about, one should take an initiative of fixing that problems. If something that cannot be fixed, it is not possible for one to fix, what benefits that we may gain out of being worried about it if it's something that cannot be fixed? So we should always, try to be patient and deal with what is deal with the situation and accordingly. I mean, like which is corresponding to reality. So. So think about, here now with this, in relation to this, now you can think about that for one of the think about the anger that we generate normally. Think very carefully to whom that you're generating anger, because the practice of patience is said to be one of the most difficult practice among the practice of six perfections. Because when we are engaging in practice of patience, we're engaging in the practice of patience with regard to one's enemy, someone who inflict harm upon one. So isn't that it's very hard for us to engage in the practice of patience, because this will be an individual who's inflicting harm upon oneself should be the object to whom we're engaging in practice of patience. So this is very hard, right? So so now here, when engaging in the practice of patience, you know, it doesn't make sense of engaging in the practice of patience with regard to someone who is helping us, someone whom someone someone who is one's loved one, and someone whom you really have affections, and so this doesn't really make sense to engage in the practice of patience. Engaging in the practice of patience is towards one's enemy, because we cannot engage in practice with regard to, regarding Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Only our enemy is the one that enables us to perfect our patience. So therefore, one should look at one's enemy as one's teacher or one's guru, because it is by relying upon them one will be able to engage, practice, not only to practice patience, but one's practice of patience will become so stable and consistent, and finally will become, patience, excellent patience, practice of patience. And it is by, depending upon one's own, enemies, will enables one to perfect one's practice of patience. One will, as a result of one's, enemies in meditate, engaging in practice of patience with regard to one's enemy, one will be able to perfect one's practice of patience.
Oh yeah, that didn't mean anything more. Sundu tela sanjari rishiyan na mepi mena kawa jansu ne gu jang. Yinji muchu janchung chosunbi sundu boshin soba shinye labs. Sanjari ri chetu ane shiriyang kawe patu nyewala ne gu chungana yang. Ane pe mena kawa jansu ne gu jang se. Yinji muchu se. Awa tangati ne tuku mara samne lotu tsan tiga maras. Yinji kocha tu kunyo na. Yinji muchu janshung chosunbi zonri boshin soba shinye labs. Yinji chambi jangwa tu chundro du ene ngansongu tunga membarwa ti nang rugo yu na ya yinji gan chugu mega tsiki yo mara. Di yinza nganzu semtab tenji chigi, semchen chigi tondala nga kawe patu nyawala ne gogo yu na nga semchen ti tun chigi yin sende. Di nani semchen dinda wachig tun nga chigi men sende bachi cheja yin na, da yinji ki tuta yo mara. Semchen tam chalawe tsewa tini nyambachi go yoris. Tati samyulin dewa dhawachi rawa. Yina ya nyingi chenpote owa tini nyingi muchu janju choksanbi zonri bharshan tsawa chenje labsi. Yina ranga gewe tsawa kanda kanyi na ya tela pen chungdo du. Yina semchen tong kandi chewa yina ya tsewa nyingi kune lani chungdo yina da tin tarshima chungu yore. Nyingi chenpote nganzu ta sutu shema goche na tonda barsam karchewa yes. Tomar karchewa tene be sabanan jawa, bardu karchewa chulutan jawa, tamar kachiwan jo mamadan jawares. Teya nyingi chimola tene be simchen tsangla mibi nyingi. Matabi chabar tu chiyane simchen la mibi, chola mibi nyingi. Rangshin mibi chabar tu chiyane simchen la mibi, mingmen la mibi nyingi. O tene nyingi la ya mandawa mambu yore. Te sumba tu tomar kachiwa nyingi re. Ine yunga ya tene ma Kanshe jayi sebundi semkan ruwa number 12 chanshe. Jayi sebundi semkan ruwa nangsa tatenma oman jiru tsawa tsu chiyode na mambu yor. O tende ke yinji sumshe yingu yor. Tene ma ane partu karchewe yinji te ta peke simche tamche dungali kyabu yin sengange kyamdoku yinji. Dungal ta tewan dowa samasa dungal ta kyamdoku yinji. Chupa lasum ngore nuku yor. Chupa lasum dungal kyamdoku yinji ti ta janjuku sem chayungu yor. Ti yinza janjuku semku tsawa ti yinji re. Janjuku semku nyelangi ju ti yinji chaga yor. Yang nganzu tsoba tsodu semchong chiki semku nyelang chiki mare sani chiki tsoba tsoya yor. Yinza nyelangi ju sedu kona dodo ti ngole yang pyonduku yor mare. Nipa chishu ti. Yinji ki nipa chishu ti dunga kyamdoku ti nipa tiri. Ti janjuku sem ngole ndoja yor. Ti yinza nganzu tanda pardu shimba chupa ti ya pardu shimba miin to ne jiten pardu shimba pardu shimba sedu sanjik salan doya ti janjuku semku sembi chinso ti je tela ta parshingan sen toku yor mato. Ti mayin ken tela ngarasa juku jimba ti janjuku sem ngosu mazime ene parshin chupa tela ta chinso tukda sakare ina pardu shimba miin toku yor marwa.
So,
Tendiki miin toya tsuo te nyinjil teni ngoku yor. Tamarin tebalo long chue ne nganzu sanjik chu nyen tela pe tosum konsum cheche yoga teya nyinjil kaden re. Ngoso sanjik no de omang tela sanjik yor. Ene yugala dungar sengang miin sama yor mare. Ene matabi sunjeng nala ma dungar tantu lan ne ene pe nganzu longche tungen chik. Omang tela tene longku cheche dena nganzu je tuku yor mare. Longku ma pe yomba ina nganzu je tuku mare. Nganzu ledup ka je tuku yor mare. Nganzu je tungen chik luchi leyondi mazabe kiwa chi she gore. Kiwa te sheba nashi ti tola tene chi nyongshi tang tende yongwa da. Ane kunyangali ndeya ta tuzo kanga nganzu jitenga meta namban tumba chik. Tende chi kiwa she gogo yorwa. Te shiye ne nganzu shu she chi yong chenyi che tosum konsum che yongwa te ta nyingi kadin chadega yorwa. Yinza totang parsum du nyingi kachewa yinza. Tende yinza simshe riri she yang yewa namen la kawe pasi deya gogo yina nyingi zogo reza. Tende she gano ya.
so now the next is the diligence or the perseverance, 100%. It's where again it's we read in the guide the Lama Sherpa is reviewing the stages of the path. Even if we must remain for an eons of ocean of eons in the fiery hells of adversity for the sake of one sentient beings, we seek your blessings. We seek your blessings to complete the perfection of joyous effort. to strive with compassion for supreme enlightenment, and not to discouraged. So now, even if we were to, remain in the fiery hell realms, for the sake of each and every sentient beings, you should not be discouraged and disheartened by the sight of those sufferings. Rather, one should diligently and joyously, willing to accepting, enduring in the hell realms for for the oceans of eons, oceans of eons, in the fiery hell realms for the sake of other sentient beings. This is how much the courage that you should have. So even if one has to remain in the fire of the lower realms, in other words, in the hell realms, in the burning hell, you should not be discouraged. For one single sentient beings, if you have to be, if one has to, remain in the hell for eons, one should willingly, intelligently, and joyfully to be able to, um, um, to be able to remain in hell for the sake of other beings. So, in order to have such a courage, one should have a compassion. The compassion is the most, driving force, or the primary factor for giving rise to this joyous effort. So, therefore, the compassion is said to be a very important in the beginning, in the initial stage, as a seed, and it is also very important as a soil, fertile soil. In the middle, it is also important as a fertile soil, moistures, manures, and so forth. And then also final, it is also important as a fruit, fruit of the seeds, germinated by the seeds, and so forth. So then again, when speaking about the compassion, then there are three different levels of compassion. Compassion mere, focusing on sentient beings. Compassion focusing in conjunction with the reflection upon the impermanence, and compassion, which means objectless compassion. It's also compassion, which is compassion in conjunction with realization of inherent, non-inherent existence, and so forth. So there are three different kinds of compassion. And so here now, this is the compassion. When speaking about compassion, not only that you have a genuine wish to, free all sentient beings from the sufferings, but you also have as a genuine wish to protecting all sentient beings from the sufferings. And when you have this, when this protection, protecting all sentient beings from the suffering is cultivated, it is said to be al-haksam, which is supported by the al-haksam, or resolute intentions, which will then induces the bodhicitta, or the awakening mind. So the compassion and great compassion is said to be the actual root cause of generation of bodhicitta. It is also said to be the nyalin, the substantial cause of bodhicitta. But then sometime again, in the when we were discussing on this bodhicitta, and there is a debate by saying there might be a debate by saying that because but this compassion is a mental factor. It's not in the primary mind, but when it comes to the bodhicitta, it's a primary mind. how can the primary mind can be so the mental factor can be the substantial cause for primary minds. So in this case, the answer to this question should be that we're not really talking about one mental factor that is transforming into the nature of primary mind. We're talking about the actual the force or the potential of giving rise to, or giving rise to the generation of bodhicitta. It actually becomes a power of generating bodhicitta. The compassion, where compassion is becoming a genuine power for generation of bodhicitta. So that is what is meant by the meant by the root cause of bodhicitta. So once practice of all these perfections is done on the basis of generation of bodhicitta, then one's practice will really become uh, become a perfection of sixth perfection. Otherwise, such as perfection of practice of the perfection of generosity, practice of perfection of morality, and so forth. If one's practice of all the six perfections are uh, done in conjunction with generation of bodhicitta, will then become a real perfection practice of perfections. So then here in the middle, at the end, it is like a fruit that is to be enjoyed by us. The fruit that is to be enjoyed. The bodhicitta is like a fruit that is to be enjoyed. So here, it is why it is called. It is like a fruit that is to be enjoyed. It's because it is again by due to this compassions, Buddhas will come back to this unenlightened existence for the benefit of other sentient beings. Because Buddha, when first uh, gained the state of enlightenment, they get the state of enlightenment in the state of akanishta, or omingine, where they're completely free of sufferings. There's not even a name of suffering over there exists. It's completely free from sufferings and so forth. However, Buddha, willfully, unwillingly, voluntarily, decided to come to this unenlightened existence for the benefit of other sentient beings. Is forced by these compassions, because if the Buddha remains in the akanishta in the form of asambhavakaya, and none of our ordinary sentient beings can receive the teachings, even if the Buddha come to this unenlightened existence in the form of sambhavakaya, then our this ordinary sentient beings like ourselves will not have any opportunity to receive the teachings and so forth. So therefore, Buddha willingly and coming into this unenlightened existence in the form of ordinary beings, someone who undergoes sufferings like ourselves, someone who will get sick, and someone who will finally to pass away to nirvana, and so on and so forth. It is just by emanating themselves in that kind of form, the form that is correspond to some that is similar to our ordinary beings, can be benefited to ordinary beings. Otherwise, if Buddha remains as a sambhavakaya, the form of sambhavakaya, so will not get any benefit out of it. So therefore, all this, the emanations of coming to this unenlightened existence and working for the welfare of other sentient beings are driven and forced by the compassion. So therefore, compassion is said to be very important in the beginning, important in the middle, important at the end.
Oh yeah. 자 단지 때 공주님이 직시에 난도. 오늘 주변 나라 공주 끝이 찍기 가와 지하게 때네 계산 좀 그래 손요래. 근데 제시면 시월이 좀 주변 나라 공주 끝이 찍기 ene kawa tungu 계산 좀 그래 손요래. 그래서 먼저 하고는 공주님이 다 할래요. 먼저 메신디 나라 롱업 주주로 야기랑 직사샤데 Contra Chum Chen, Tombaton Yanshin Rojikirwa. That is Kari Chinese Yarsana, Judging Shivali Soyante, Rani Kunsa Yuti, Yu Chaberchen. Around the open torch, lay a contra Sajavina, go don't get the Chum Rores. Umajuvena Kawaja said that on the open Yambachi and Trevayina, and Kawaja gets a Chum Gores on it. This on your. Things are going to control the Sion 아지 담메센 데라 깔레 가지 저잖아티 컨트롤 좀 주잖아다 다와다 당신이 강가 소 쟁인데 컨트롤해 돼요래 니님은 야고치 양내 양도 상고야.
So here, one thing I forgot to mention about the shortcoming of the suffering. Shortcoming of this anger. So here it says in the Madhyamaka where it's stated by it's stated that just by the one event of generation of this, the one fraction of generation of this anger can destroy the virtues that one have accumulated in the 100 eons. 100 eons can be destroyed, and the guide to the Bodhisattva's way of life by Shantideva says it will just the one instant of generation of anger can destroy the merits of 1,000 eons. So here now, the difference between the two is now in the guide to the Bodhisattva's way of life, where it states that it will destroy the virtues of 1,000 eons, is because if we generate anger towards someone who is highly spiritually realized, who have gained high level of spiritual realizations, if you accidentally or if you willingly generated those anger towards them, then it will destroy your accumulation merits of 1,000 eons. But in the Madhyamaka Avatar by Chandikriti, by saying that your instance of anger will destroy the 100 eons of merits will be 100 eons of the merit will be destroyed. So here now, according to the Madhyamaka Avatar, it said it is if you were to generate anger towards someone who is like yourself as ordinary beings, or someone who is in the same realizations, then you will destroy your merits of 100 eons. That's the difference.
야, 다때니 망가니 시네. 인자 진고 넘버 양이 좀반에 주권 댐비 동비 내로라. 제시냐물 저비 인생지 something portion to over change loss. something portion but 대송고요래. 진고 넘버 양이 좀반에 주권 댐비 동비 내룩세도 동반예래. 내로라. 제시 냠버 저와스. 제시도 텔라 냠버 자네. 아니 something portion but to ondu Tati Shila Sundre Segayore. Shila Sundre said, Teaching Yammer Jovi Tinzenji, Tingenzenji, Ngani, Hiroku Chene, Chetuchi Tambi, Luzum Shinjenge, Dewachi Yondu, and Shila Sundre Tingenzi Tuguyore. Titobala, Shina Sundre Tingenzi Tobala, Tambu Shine Tuguyore. Shine Matubayina, Shila Sundre Toyomore. Shine do ngaras mingten chi tsene so mingten men tong kundo witini ngande yo tong kundo witini tele choma tindi na mingten ze ho tsene en tela ta gomne lo yi ma chi wa chene gomgo yo re gom yonde ta tela tene chansa yimba yo Nibang abun tuji jesene, nibang ayores. Nibang abuti nyembo tilen tuji jeyore. Titena, nibang abut dogore. Titona ta, ene shine yakus gum tukore. Shine tin drup sona, And the ngane shero ki chewa chene, chetup chi chambi hinjang dewa tomna, shela songre top yungu re songo yore. Yena ngazu nyeba ngabon tuji je sonde nyeba ngabo tela, lelo tang damga tang, je tang chin tang, goba tang. Dumi che tang du che te tang nyeba ngando to sene, nyeba ngabo te she yore. Che tang lelo te pe, tu shu che tengen se gomba la, ngana so chi sangda tang chi gomda che du, di paro lelo leyo, gomni mandaba che, ene nami leyo, oda lelo wan chundu che za lelo tu shu chi re. Tene lelo tang danga tang se, danga jeba se, danga jeba se ka se wa na, meeting tambu su su samlo kar tang yo na, meeting ti jambi sho song na, jambi taba pege tam chu chu che song deba ti meeting sho yo na, danga jeba se yo re, danga jeba se. Tene jin tang goba se, jingo niwa ti niwa chigli tse wa re. Jinwa sengen ti tambu mipa sebu nda se yo na ya paru se la, sem ma lo shi shi nda che ne, sem chumbu mengen nda sebu mengen cha yung du, jinwa chamu la yung wa re. Tene tangdo ya ma ra ra yung na, ene mi ten shu ndu wa re, ene tangwa jeba se. Di nyingbo tela ta, chi kunsho songa yunden da wa tang, yunden chamba tang. Ene chi namkala soba ya tang da wa tende tang. Sem zin to na, jingwa di ene se tuku yo re. Ene jingwa ta guba yungu yo me hijing senga teke jara che ne, peke so jam ne, sem kani kongundu ta go re. Daya sem di chiroba indo ne, mikba di gana madewa chen chiroba indo na, guba yungu yo re. Sem indo chingandu na, hijin be nyurwa te, hijin peke zeta teke, jingwa ta guba mayong ko ne, jambala pa lenchi tuku yo re. 다 진고 용도 지금도다 고보 용도 지금도다 세네 섬tumri 지금이나 진고티 용쇼고요 말. 어 누미체단 두체티 아니 진고 매버제네 미고 세우제네 유나 아 요그 띵도 바 데데요나 에네 시징이 잘하지죠 뭐 잘하지는 예버 찬도 시제 용도 제 진고 용도 시징이 잘 맞지워지나 안 두미체와서네 예버래 섬땡은 내 대도 시징이 잘하지워나 양한테 예버 찬도 그래서 누미체단 두체테 다 예버 안도 또 오세네 예방 같은 거 호스 무슨 거야
So now the fifth one is the practice of samadhi, which is again in the reviewing stages on the path, stages of the path, where it says, having abandoned the faults of dullness, agitation, and mental wandering, we seek your blessings to complete the perfection of the meditative concentrations, samadhi, and through the samadhi of single-pointed placement upon the nature of reality, which is that all things are void of true existence. So it is referring to all things are void of true existence, referring to emptiness. So now this talks about, practicing samadhi or the meditative perfection of meditative concentrations. So meditative concentration or the samadhi, or you could also say shine, or the calm abiding. When one engages in such practice, uh, one need to choose. Important to choose object of meditations where you can fixate your mind upon it, where you can fix your mind upon it without any distractions, single pointedly. So by choosing object of meditations, whichever the object of meditation that you may choose, such as the stages of the Buddha, you know, whichever, whatever the size of the Buddhas and the form of the Buddha's, image that you would like to choose, something that is suitable to one's own mind, one can choose that object as one's meditations and then meditate upon. So try to meditate upon and not letting your mind, overpowered by mental wandering and dullness and agitations. So therefore, so then at some point, by engaging in such practice for certain sustained period of time, one will then be able to actualize Lusum Xinjiang, which means the mental and physical pliancy, mental and physical pliancy. When you are able to, when you actualize such realizations, you will then be able to perfect your practice of samadhi or the meditative concentrations. So now, in order to engage in such practice, which means the 5 faults and 8 antidotes need to be recognized, need to be identified. So the 5 faults here, the first fault out of 5 faults, the first fault is the lelo, which is the laziness, is one of the main impediment for one's practice of samadhi. And for that, one should apply application towards this. And then next is Dhamma Jeva, which means forgetting the instructions that you have received, right? And so, which is again one of the obstacles for one's perfection or perfecting one's practice of meditative concentrations. And then third one is Jingui. Those 2 faults are counted as a 1, Jingwa and Guba, which means mental dullness and agitations. Or the mental dullness and agitations are counted as a 1. And then the 4th one is non-applications, which means that when the jingui, mental dullness and agitations are there, and if you're not applying antidotes towards that, which is mindfulness and introspection, or the meta awareness, if you're unable to apply those antidotes towards that, then this is one of the fault, one of the obstacle for your practice of your samadhi. And then when you're able to, again, when one is able to remain one's focus, one is able to focus on one's object of meditation single-pointedly without any mental wanderings, then one should not apply any antidotes towards that. If you apply antidotes towards that, then this will again become an obstacle for one's, achievement of one's samadhi and so forth. So therefore, those are the 5 different kinds of, faults or for the obstacles for achievement of one's meditative concentrations.
Yeah, Tinanita, Lelo Tambote Tushu Te Tin, Nimbutella, Netan tell nevatan judan revenue to worsen. Anything in the gumdo can dumba shoot trouble, shiona, and tell it any zonduchi res. Anything you tell it, netan tell nevatan shine gumdo in dumba trouble tell it any zonduchi res. Zondu zombie Devatella Hinsang Devachi res, Devatri. That Zondugutene or Ndumbe Jutella Devachene. And Deva Yahuchiana, Tinganzala Deva Yahuchiana, and Tinganza Gumduku, Dumba Yahuchi Ngure. Dumba Yahuchi Chievena, and it's only Zongure. Zondi Zongena, and then Lusan Shining Deva Chigre. Tishivatega Leloti Nimbuteres. Tā dāngwā jēntōwa tī nyēmbō tēlā, āni mī tēn mā jēbi tēmbā tūmbū chēne āni yōna, āni dāngwā jēgi mā rēs. Tā nyēmbō ndū mē chēba tā ndū chēba nyēba tāngjī shūtsā sō, tēngi tēgi yōrī yā.
So now here, the first obstacle for practicing meditative concentrations is the lelo, which is the laziness, right? For that, there are 4 antidotes to be applied. And through the application of those 4 antidotes, one will then be able to overcome our laziness. So the 4 antidotes here we follow. It's the first antidote is deba, which one should have a faith in practice of concentrations, meditative concentrations, or the samadhi. Something. So with this faith will then, enables you to have aspirations. Faith, aspiration. The next aspiration will be driven by having a genuine faith. And as a result of having a genuine aspirations will then, induces the efforts, or joyous effort, or the perseverance, or the enthusiastic perseverance. As a result of cultivating this into enthusiastic perseverance, one will then be able to achieve pliancy, physical and mental pliancy that we talked about earlier. So this 4 will become a remedy for the laziness. Then the antidote towards forgetting the instructions is forgetting instructions or losing the object of meditations. Here is a mindfulness, application of mindfulness. The mindfulness will act as an antidote towards forgetting instructions or the forgetting, object of meditations. Then last 2 are number to mijeba. Those are we already explained earlier.
Yeah. Wada tindiri, ta tini semnebi tab gusinganda wada ta ini yanda tindi yor, ta chi tani ge tenge mandula ta shimugoche tindi chiri. Chisa lelo singanda ngara su kadu ina tingin sa gomya chigu tsaka yo mare. Lojo chinganda wajina lelo tu tushiri jawa karina utsomba ina ngo chang sadu tamachiyo ti lelo xe dega yore. Tin chi tengi jawa ina re, lautan dawa chimba ina ya, lautan gochuk sadu lelo che de lojo yako machi, ane lautan kongchiyo yo mare. Ane zorik dawa tini che lawa ina ya, gochuk che di pa machi ina, lelo che dena, ta jawa kari ina, jawa zanga kari dawa ina ya, kong machiyo che ndo ati pigi lelo cha dega yore. Che zanganzo lelo dukshu chigre, o tindiri. Ta tindi nganzo tindi ma samten shewa, samten mara, shewa yena, jingwa nama jingwa samten pashin towa jingi los, 다 되니 소소 또비 쉐럽지 장외 훈장 대신 당들와 동동 냥자 남게 남주지 쉐럽버전 저버 전제 러스 되니 소소 또비 쉐럽지 세두 최 남지 내용을 제네 아니 소소 또비 쉐럽 아니 쉐럽디 담비 아니 신생의 대화 제도지 장외 신생의 대화 동원도 상동 도용고요. 인간들 세직도 내심의 안에 쉐럽 동반이라 인간생의 쉐럽 곰네베 동반이라 sem세직도 내심의 안에 얘네 쉐럽 그냥 동반이라 제거요래. 동반이라 제네. 제도지 쉐럽지 제도지 장외 신생의 대화 동원도 얘네 쉐라송들 차노고요와 디디 제버시고 젠다 제버시든 먼저 다다 나다 가사 생각는데 소리 제버시요래 제버지원도 단단 남서 나라 단선 짜지 저에 벌써 쓰세 단선 고 고대우시네 마무시우지 제용고요래 오마지고 나라 대송도와 zugt 다인 섬 된대요래 먼저 zu다 말에 제버지는 zu다 말에 다랑 zuda 마이 다는 zu데면 zu라 다메 다라 zu요면 대단 남시 봉근 키샤데 대단 다도 따와 뉴신도 세네 아니 그게 단전 자지 저의 부수 된 단전 뉴히지 대셔요 엔타나 그 루고 컴투부티야 다인 섬네 땡겨요 델타 오마자와케르 임바요 기브 사면 추마예 메멘 로멘 나우가멘 나우기 마예 꾸메나 델레잔네 기브 가세 루고테네 컴투부티 요와사이 컴메 컴추 컴롱 컴나기 컴 에네 나우겐 컴세네 보가 나우가세 워테 투부티 기브 마르다스 데마이나 다 기브 생각이 가완도세 제용디 딩원에 저기 요말 오늘 때니 매버시르에서는 때니 매버 말이 기본 컴중 뒤비셔 양다 뭐예세 컴주분 뒤발라 민이 따와점 민장 따여점 레송요 대신 컴내레 전 뒤셔 양다 요도 민생원도 아니 기부 다시 컴주보 봄봉하고 대야 고 최시다 주단见了 때는 주어인자 랑은 주어지요 말에서도 취지 다음에 시용 거요. 그래서 될다 시력 제버지는 텐데 제버지는 아니 제도 그 다음에 신경 대화 제고요. 야.
So now next is the perfection of wisdom. Share a virtue, the perfection of wisdom, where it says again the same Namachepa, where you are familiar with. Kinyi Susu Tobi Sheraki, it means the sacred blessings to complete the perfection of wisdom, to the space-like yoga of single-minded placement upon ultimate truth, conjoined with ecstasy and the great bliss induced by discriminating wisdom, analyzing suchness. So here now, analyzing suchness, where it says it is analyzing the actual mode of existence of phenomena, or actual mode of existence of phenomena, or the actual mode of ultimate nature of reality of phenomena. So now here, when the realization of the wisdom realizing emptiness is induced by uh, the analytical means, or the power of analytical means. Analytical means, one will then be uh, will then be able to what we call actualize the appliances. When your realization of emptiness uh, induced by the analytical means, you then actualize this pliancy. At the moment that you have generated such pliancy, you have then said to be actualized Shila Sungde, means the unity of calm abiding and vipassana, or unity of 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 of, of samadhi and vipassana, samatha and vipassana. So, so what is meant by analytical means? So here now, analytical means is now analyzing self, I, or the person. What is the mode of existence of the person? What is the actual mode of existence of the person? What is the ultimate mode of the person, I or self? So this is what is being analyzed. So now in the Madhyamaka verses, so most of the time when we think about the self or I, we always think about our aggregate, the self, the aggregate is aggregate. Physical aggregate is as a self. Our own physical aggregate is a self. So therefore, we in the three principles of the three principle aspect of the path, where it states that one if engaged in the net of skill, still cage, still engaged in the engaged in the still cage of the grasping itself. So this is what we are actually binded at this point, because we always think of this our physical aggregate of the body that we have is ourself. So therefore, if we go through a critical analysis, the physical body would not be self, nor the self that is actually inherently exists in conjunction with the physical aggregate and so on and so forth. So, and then again, similarly, we will find this in the fundamental treatise of the middle way by the Nagarjuna, which is even if you look at our six constituents, if you go through the analysis and if you go through a scrutiny, scrutiny, critical scrutiny of your each, individually of your six constituents, then that all of the six constituent will not be the person, I or the self. Therefore, it says that it says that person is not a earth, not a water, not a fire, nor wind, not space, not consciousness, nor is he or she all of them. Then it says that doesn't mean that he or she does not exist at all. Non-existence. This is not what it's meant. And then it says, therefore it says, which means, yet what person is there? They're separate from this. Then Kevo come to Dvivijaya. And just as a person is not perfectly solid because he or she, can be labeled on the collection of the six constituents, Likewise, none of the constituents are perfectly solid because each is what can be labeled on the collection of the parts. So the self or I, we're not denying the actual existence of the self or I. We're denying what we were denying here is we're denying the conquered self, inherent self, or the intrinsic self, the existence of the self or I is denying. So then how can we then, establish the self? Self can be established, it says, labeled on the collections of the six constituents. The constituents are perfect, constituents are not, it is not solid because each is what can be labeled on the collection of the parts.
Yeah. Any person took a non sheriff there, be migdaviche. Any person tamung avati, kambata dengenche. That's Sanjay Salayan Rolatini, sheriff Milatini, ya Sanjay Salandu Gungaji, Numaba Ganga be Muji Nyembu Chingente, sheriff Kichiri or Moto, Pasha Yandasu, dancing, the Kansa dancing, the Chuji dancing to Nyembu, Munyachi took your mother. Then the sheriff Mictan them by Yin Sitiniari. 다이는 알아서 단다 슈디야디 버드심이 특별감이 시야와데 네 상어도지 TV 라면도 제외나 유 동번일라 차라가 제외요 말 동번이 찍어리 타는 가서 찍어 제단 찍어리 얘는 때 동은 걸로 될라 다 제외 전부요 상어도지 TV 만주 단다 시야 되는 시바티제데 시바 라바제 시바 라바티제데 유토바텔라 니바티니 첨부요 말 시바 참모 제네 슌드 차위 뉴미셈 코랑게 동번이지 또바이나 유젠코 참모 시부 제네 디유 동번이 또용도 에네베 니바 첨부 시부 제네 에네 뒤비 바샤도서베 그간 네마트버네 빼는 돈음도 토용도 아는 것은 돈음 토용도 에네 그게 돈인 것은 돈 밥이 공부 토용도 녀모바다 단전다 에네 덴전 강가 원년치 두고요 돈은 남들은 토용도 나중에 공부 토버려 녀부 시부 때는 누구요 바제트비 남들 오시는 때는 약간 잠을 숨 쏘사는 거로 조준이 가서 가신 잠을지 마당 서동 가서 가신 잠을지 다와서송 가서 가신 잠을지와 잠을 숨 쏘사는 양도고요 알루라 때는 야제네 아니 그게 슌드 차위 육매샘 되게 돈이 또야 탑기디 구성랑제로서 곰제네 디지 떨어져야나 ene tsechile sanje tuyage nenga ngone te yore te yujen hibo koran chamuche te tomoni ngosum toondu te gala nyomobe dubada denzen de tusu pasha konne togoyo mare jago marmbawe tinla dunro shi hona lawda tsigdore mendogro oten nashi yosene taso jetoble jaayondu da uchi 시도고 바샤로 주소 레기어 마도 요모베 주버 강가 빠네 돈 남들은 도도 다시 먹고 맞다 버려 어디 인자 지상화도 TV 나오는 거죠 다 강게 왕슈 지 단지대 세대 뭐 당시에 너무 또소 애니 냠레체 tum나 사주 전부요 뇰람리 tener chomjando lenen dogo mare inaya gomya ge yur tombani chiba inaya gongen lo kora niba chechong wange and such a church of the Indogandua. There, the young the Chanjo was some Tayogo, Metamed. Chanjo was some Yoga that Nijo Metamerua. That Jam Ninji Chanjo is some Domini Tawach and the Kunsa Sondage and Sanga to the Tivian Chetuna. And the Setching the Sanji Rivajaya young and Tinis ready. Robert young Marasu me Namju Yoguchi, Sherry Yoguchi. Then the Tola Tanjana Kaka Tasumeba, and they should do the town of Barret young and Mugan Hiashi Yongore. The Minan someone with the Mulungu to Yova. Dodna Kishi Pado Kansharia. When she Gombe Lange Namsanji. Send the Gejukuma Tojune. She say Yella Gawa Jever shows. She told him how much sometimes you come there to Lola Shawandi. Galala and Shiachi Yongres. And as it is Jonathan Yahorua. And the Majonaeta, Janju Sam the Ninji said Damne. Shiturajana Yahorua. Timina Rana Devayosa Lamachi said Damne. Lola change in Shatuna. Joshima Milit Toya Pache the Yungu. The Jorumuchi Kaji Nan Tinin Nandua. Lama change in the Shinungandi. Ya Denology Tashu so on Tinindua. What a Tinichi and Marasu Goyag Lama Yorumuchi. Pawashan is a Katana Queen Namtur. This way, Yane and to a Parmamu yor. This was energy. Then Pawashan is a covered with Tinichi. That's some like Comdi Tango. Comdi Tango, Comban Gomba was. Gom said there is some like Comdi Tango, Gom Jab Sagari. Comdi Marmont and the Comban Roy on the similar Mumachi tent, there was a Jula Comdi Chene, Yana Yan, never cherry no Zawan in Dario. Never cherry. Never take the cherry no not call Yaya and the Lelarium. What the Tunisia?
So now here, the wisdom is again here. The practice of wisdom is perfection of wisdom is something that is very important. It is said that wisdom is like eyes, where you can see and embark on the correct path by relying upon the wisdom eye. And the perfection of wisdom, the perfection of wisdom is like eyes, and then other five perfection, the practice of perfection, such as giving and so forth. The five other perfection are said to be like legs, where you can actually walk. So by relying upon the wisdom eye, one can embark upon the path all the way to the state of enlightenment. Right? It is the wisdom realizing emptiness, or wisdom realizing selflessness is the only act as the only direct antidotes towards our afflictions, mental afflictions. Because other practice of the perfections will not become a direct antidote towards grasping at self and grasping at true existence of phenomena. It will not become a direct antidote. So only a wisdom realizing emptiness will become, direct antidotes towards of delusions or negative thoughts and emotions. So now, up until now, this is the wisdom that we are talking about. In the wisdom realizing emptiness, we are talking about in accordance with the Sutrayana systems. But in the Mantrayana systems, when we speak about wisdom realizing emptiness, although the objective emptiness there's no difference at all. There's no subtleties in accordance to subtleties between Sutra and Tantra, the system of Sutrayana and Tantrayana. But the difference is the mind that understands, mind that realizes emptiness is completely different. In the Sutrayana, when the Sutra system, when we talk about the wisdom realizing emptiness, we're talking about the gross level of consciousness, gross level of mind, which understands, which realizes emptiness. But according to, when it comes to this Mantrayana system, we're not talking about the gross level of consciousness that realizes emptiness, but rather we're talking about the most subtlest consciousness with the primordial consciousness which realizes emptiness. So therefore, the one that subtle mind, the most subtlest mind, the primordial mind, which understands emptiness, is said to be ever more powerful than the gross mind that understands emptiness. But when you have gained such realizations of your primordial mind that understands emptiness, not only it actually become antidotes towards our delusions, but also become antidotes towards the imprints of the delusions and negative thoughts and emotions. So therefore, in the Tantrayana systems, when the individual is achieved, when the individual is achieved the path of seeing, then such individual will be able to apply antidotes towards grasping at self and grasping at true existence. Become a direct antidote towards grasping at self and grasping at true existence. And when it transcends from the path of seeing to the Namdulam, which is the thoroughly liberated path, according to the Mantrayana system, and the individual is said to be accomplished, the arhathoods will be on the state of arhats. So in the sutra system, in order to achieve arhathoods, the individual need to go through the practice of accumulation of the merits for the three countless eons. Whereas in the Tantrayana system, that doesn't record. It is due to the subjective mind that understands emptiness is very subtle. So, so therefore, so one try to meditate on this emptiness and try to employ our subtle mind to understand emptiness based on the practice of Kusum Lamkir, which is taking three bodies into the aspect of the path. So when it's again here now, so then with this practice can be done because you have received now empowerments, and having received the empowerments that we can talk briefly about the commitments and the precepts of the empowerments that we need to observe, and one should observe all those precepts based on receiving the empowerments. And so if one is able to do that, then this practice of Sutrayana is said to be a new lump, which is the swift path to enlightenment. One will be able to gain the state of enlightenment very swiftly. So, one's practice of Tantrayana is done on the basis of cultivation of bodhicitta. Bodhicitta, in order to achieve bodhicitta, then cultivation of compassion is inevitable. So therefore, one's practice of Tantrayana, the Mantrayana, in conjunction with generation of bodhicitta, compassion, and love and wisdom realizing emptiness, then it is there is a hope that one can gain a state of enlightenment in one's very brief lifetime, in one's single lifetime. So here now we have such a wonderful intelligence and wisdom that we have right now. If we were to waste those wisdom and intelligence that we have, it's a tragic for us. One should not, waste the quality of mind that we have, the intelligence that we have. Make very good use of it, because making sure that at the time of one's death, you will die with no regrets. Instead of, other than that, if you let our intelligence, waste and, not making good use of it, and at the time of one's death, then one will have full of regrets, and one will die with, intense agony, and sufferings. So, so therefore, in the extensive prayers of Guru Samaja, where it says, at the time of one's death, and whatever the practice that one may have done, the meditation one may have done during one's lifetime, one will be able to, remember all of those practices at the time of one's death. When this happens, one will die with no regret. Not only that one will die with no regrets, but one will die delightfully. If that is not possible, one should always try one's best. One will able to remember one's guru, from whom you have received the teachings, to whom that you have a faith, the most faith that you have. So therefore, it is said that His Holiness once mentioned that if one is able to remember at the time of one's death, if remember that one's spiritual guru, one's root guru, then it is certain that one will achieve a high rebirth, or particularly the human rebirth in one's future life. So we all have received. We have the spiritual connection with His Holiness. We have received either directly or indirectly that we have received the teachings from His Holiness. His Holiness, one should always try to now, to the fullest extent of one's ability, to meditate and on His Holiness as one's guru. His Holiness being an emanation of charity, who is an emanation of Buddha of compassion, of Avalokiteshvara. So try to meditate upon it. And if you try to meditate and learn yourself, and then at some point, your meditation will become so natural, become, easier and easier for you to meditate. So then when this happens, then at the time of one's death, you'll be able to remember one's guru, so that you don't have to die with a lot of agonies and so forth. We probably here live with this today. No. So, if you have the questions regarding today's teachings of 6 perfections, we'll take a few questions.
Yes.
So sometimes when I'm trying to practice concentration, you
loud?
I hope so. Sometimes when I'm trying to practice concentration, I'll have thoughts that arise that I have no control over. Is there some kind of antidote that I can apply for that?
Okay. 남게 잠잠돼야 되는데 거기서 시내 공백하블이야. 시내 세고서라도 그 샘세지 버스거든.
어,
땜제지고 근데 공백 갑이야. 근데 아직 즉 그게 증거의 시랄레기도 세서서 가지고 셈이야. 어제만 되듯이 그냥 받고 남산 치료 쇼로도 근데 아니 진행부 갈때 원나 생각을 비슷해.
네. 다티 님부터 희진래. 증거니가 잘하지네. 군이 용도시도 같은나 여기였다. 철로버 철사소나 텔레 라우지스 우투고요 말. 먼저 빼자도 미텐데 힌동라 빼자. 아니 아 랑그 셈 철로 쇼노근데 람부치라 빼자. 람부치티 힌동라 봐 땅행 타바텔라 잠바트 빼자요. 잠베 타바 빼호지기 란센티 힌동 때무실바 따자와이나 코코야 셰데데 마토코 힌동 꼬는 도토고 말와 테나지진 젬바티 호고고요 젬바타게 랑게 에네 셈드 벽에 힌동 따지네 이 마주나 대추 벌써 야호용 거래야.
So here now antidotes towards antidotes towards this you're unable to concentrate unable to focus your meditative concentrations your becomes uncontrolled. So the direct antidote towards this is Shijin, which means Tempa and Shijin. The mental, the mindfulness and introspection, or the mental, meta awareness, I would say, or introspection. So this need to be employed to address your distractions, because now here those application of antidotes need to be applied when those wanderings, mental agitation, and the mental dullness is about to come. Because once your mind is already wander, it's already distracted, so it's already gone out. So then it is very hard to bring it back. So we have to. One need to carefully to remember, and when those wanderings are about to arise, prior to its actual arisal, one then apply those antidotes of mindfulness and mental and introspections. So here, for that, there's we set a metaphor for that, and how we can stabilize one's meditative concentrations. Here, one's object of meditation is analogous to a tree, a very stable, firm tree, right? And then one's mind is analogous to an elephant, okay? And once the mindfulness is analogous to a rope, where you can tie that elephant very tightly to the tree. So even though that elephant will, try to move, but then elephant cannot leave the place where you want the elephant to be, right? So therefore, the mindfulness is analogous to a rope where we can tie the elephant to the tree. So therefore, the mindfulness are very, very important. The application of mindfulness is very important for the to perfect one's practice, your meditative concentrations.
Yeah.
Hello, Rinpoche. Thank you for your kindness and compassion to give us a lot of advanced teacher about like Yamataka and Bhagavad Yogini. So since those teachings are very advanced, did you recommend us to just practice like those advanced teaching, or there's some preliminary practice we can do first before we practice those advanced practice?
Khensur Rinpooche la ni ta tu tsuyo nga ne ni chi ka chi sunju tende na ta le ya ni ni ta ban tu shi xue yin ani ta ka zhen ta ye jia de da Khensur Rinpooche ne ni chi wang da ji ji wang jian da tende na de ta de ge de nyam le to bu yin za ta ngan zu mixing that today Yamya Shara making the Shaga de Yamlin Tigalia, Yamlin Togo de Chen Tiguanas, Til Yaman, Dingwalia, Wonder Church, the Yamlin del Majubi Conlia, the Wonder Yamlin of Karachi Waganas. The Shaga in the Shaga Chen Tigayason to do send a registration.
Oh, yeah. That thing on the woman, country much which any lady or that man to the Kanga person so was Majon Padu, and then Gigela so to Yamlin Machena, Mr. Koran Dangamare. Tangas a chegori, Jamrun Chegi, Jamdu Sagi Sagi, Jamdu Senchi Sagi Sagi, Munduna, Jamdu Senchi Kishimura, Sagi Sagi, then the Lamin Angels Chegi, and the Divashaya Tene Pege Yala Sova to Soya, Dangiche. Any Chanjo Samo Gongu Gongiche, Ninja Gongu Gongiche, and Matawaya Gongu Gongiche. Tene Yedung Laya, Dachi Jedu Kanol Tene, Gongi Gongi Chene, Chichena Nyum de Yachi, Lion Toyaga. When a Hindu Jazz Zune, Hindu Chik Zune, Telechulune, Joe Matapatu, Hindu Chik Nyade, the usual Hindu Ni Sum Zune, and then Devil Reva Jagona, and then second Dangayomar. Hindu Jam, Hindu Mundra in the Java Zune, and there's a good thought in Tarishin Chunda with our Lunda with the Nichine, so to Vainam, and then David down the Kangal Tayangua. What the Nichin and Mazu, or Tangas and Hundro Meva in Zata, where you Yungo Mari Samne, Chunishajo Mari. Where you tell it, there's a Gongi and Tachin or Gongi and other Kusulanche to Tate to Gongi. So Jachimusa Yungore. The puppet of Chamunjum Royore. What did the Mundunium the Chetune Hoyore, Kanga Gongoria?
So now if we were to, wait until we finish all the preliminaries and do actual practices, then it's going to take time. We don't have that much time for us, right? Our entire life, even if our entire life is not actually sufficient to complete all of this, right? So rather one should do it all together, one can practice engaging in those deity practice along with the practice of taking refuge in schedules and practice of Guru Yoga and practice of purification of negativity by reciting 100 syllable mantras and meditating on bodhicitta, compassion, reflection upon impermanent nature of phenomena. And, along with that, one can also practice, either rely upon one's meditation or deities. One can engage in the practice of self-generation so that one can do whether you wanted to, follow the long version or the short versions. So we can, practice all of those together, your preliminaries along with actual practice of deity. This will be very beneficial. For instance, if you wanted to just, plant one tree and wait until it gets some fruits, and then you want to plant another tree. So this is going to be a very, very long time, right? 1, 2, 3 trees that you wanted to plant until it gives some fruits and so forth. But rather, if you can plant 100 trees at one time and nurture this tree very properly by, watering and, giving whatever is necessary to nurture this tree, then it will germinate and, give rise to its fruition at 100 trees at one time. So it is, it is that good that if you can, along with your, preliminary practices, you can also do the actual practices, engaging in the practice of Kusum Lamkir, taking the 3 bodies into the aspect of the path. With this kind of practice, you will be able to accumulate tremendous amount of merits, the great amount of merits, and purify a great amounts of negativities.
Ladan tena tena doi yin da uchi ke daje jiba cheni nyamlen che tu na pe ko yore. Ma so nang je ba chi nyamlen chengen la ene pege a pashe senamandu. Nem je tanam de ke ji zo ni yore son ne jerum chi te son do. Nem je tanam de ke ji zo sem je mo ba lun jum xin ji yin. Mo jum kherap zo lan jayang chou. Chidan jumbe pachon jikche tos. Teishan jaya shito dadubji lamde namjo chenji dujayi jungo metu chungwan tongwe na dane tsundumbe la rinwan juru sane. Jirum chigi manzu nenjuwa lam nyamlen chengen tela gajen pachen do chishu nyi yore semjong dongen maripare di nyembo te jizun jambe yare. En doin chishe la Shiva ngosu tu tabu shalandu, tabu ngosu tu Shiva shalandu ya shita dabdu yore. And then Senjum Dongan and Cheda Shinji, the Nyambo doing Jigeres. Chesa ti be metuchun, Duja to so Jungo metuchun, Tone, and Jerumuji telbe Shibuchi Besunane Tenandua.
So this, the practice of, particularly the practice of this Vajravarava, the Yamantaka practice, is said to be one of the most skillful means to overcoming our obstacles of our practice. When one is engaged in the practice of accomplishing, the liberations, the path of liberations, the obstacles are the most powerful antidotes to remove the obstacles is practice of Vajravarava, said by Lama Tsongkhapa, because said that once the destroyer of one's mind is the Marikva, which is Momba, which is close-mindedness or the ignorance, and destroyer of one's body is a lot of death or yama. So now it says by means of engaging in the practice of the combination of wrathful and peaceful manjushri will overcome the destroyer of our mind, and then engaging in actual practice of by visualizing and engaging in actual practice of the Vajravarava is the antidote towards the destroyer of our body. So therefore it says, if one in this a very unique practice that is involved in this Vajravarava is if one engages in the practice, directly for accomplishment of the rightful, then the peaceful aspect will be accomplished as byproduct. And if one directly engages in the practice of the peaceful aspect, then the rightful aspect of the practice will be accomplished as byproduct.
Yeah.
No, I don't need a microphone.
No,
I should record. 我的问题是啊，就是在这个修这个安忍，那我觉得我有时候很容易生气，那可是呢，对某一些事情、某一些人，可是我找的结果，最后我发现这个敌人并不是别人，是我自己的无明。那我想问师父说，我是哪里欠缺，所以我会有这样子的这种嗔心，或是说我没有办法去安忍。
想一看。So
Okay, I'm very easy to. Oh, okay.
So the question is, I'm very easily to get angry and very difficult to practice patience. And especially there's certain objects, some is the individual and some is things. I get angry very easily. So my question to Khensur Rinpooche is what I'm lacking and how can I practice patience better?
My question is, okay, sorry.
Hold on, just a moment. If somebody's trying to leave and if you have double parked and blocked, I think your Honda 6 VMW 163, or I think a white Nissan 4SQL138, you're blocking somebody who needs to leave. If you could move your car, thank you. Back to the question.
What was she saying? Not okay.
If you want to translate, translate. My brain doesn't work that well anymore. So please be patient with me.
Okay. So her question is, she's easily to get angry and sometimes to individual and sometimes to things. And when she look for solution and she finally find it's really her mind, the ignorance, and it's not enemy outside. So she's asking Khensur Rinpooche, what can she do? What she's lacking of, so she can practice patience better. Connie agreed.
这个是你这这里啊，控制在来老学学是，你随便你们家里啊，搞来搞去学都是，但没谁他控制在他马家你所说的。没当没理啊，他没理啊，控制啥呀？都当呀，对面没呀，呀就没买没呀，想吧，的就有想吧的店里呀，就控制开了，天天用都是。的那边呢，的所说就三两回当就店里啊，的多是考虑那边呢，三都是当的干里啊，你就的是做跟前都是的所说sem开了别sem。马里维想往上的sem的跟前去，你控制啥用？控制。job saya yo chida antegalia karjure sebe nyamne chere chema to the team das tende samudus da ine da dene che kontrol del toktablia da kanda sebe nyamne ches yar ta ya lia da kharche go benas ko kar changi menas monolia tanda
oi dati jobe ya go kangal pento gore choran sego mar kangal tini yungu yo da was my shen and my shen and kanga Savignam kale kawore. In the year Controsazage, you Michi Kuran Controsa Chu mete Tela Mivatene. Ao Komala Shivu Garden Chimuresha, Janju Sambi Nyamlang Kale Kashu te Savignam Lere. Tindi kondu tunga chi mena nga soba gonya sani yungu mare. Nga tanda kondu sake soba gongi che ni chi che tubati mi churang kadin re das tuji ches. Nga lunga yesumbu chol tegu che ge yes. Churang ngambe zobe nyamne tungengi gegen tashuti. Yin se ne kondu sa desa ge yur mi chigilan zogu tsuk che ne. Churang nima chigi ni sum gomda. Churang kondu chungan ruwa nge jacha jatamu genki.
So, yeah, now in this case, you know, this easily, getting angry, easy to get angry is common to all of us, not only you. And difficult to engage in practice of patience is also common to all of us, not only you. Every one of us here, although we are not saying it, but this is the same thing, every one of us. Because, that we talked about earlier, that the most difficult part of practice is the practice of patience, right? So now for that here now, think about to whom you are actually getting angry. When you are getting angry, think that just, focus on the person to whom you are getting angry. And then try to think how kind that person is. It is due to the kindness of this person I'm able to engage in the most difficult practice of the bodhisattvas, which is the practice of patience, which is the most difficult practice, recognized as the most difficult practice of bodhisattvas. So how kind this person is, because I'm able to engage in such practice. He or she is the most kindest person to me to perfect my practice of patience. So one should think about this. He or she is the best teacher for me to develop my practice of patience. So if you really do this, if you really, if you continue to engage in this practice for 1 day or 2 days or 3 days, I guarantee that you will become better and better.
Tiegala nombi chiyore. Konro sayondu konro tege tsingamba tini lawyage mge loche yongore. Loche yondu kobe nane ya konro member yona ya kane ya toa matumba che gores. Sikti pa shor mashar chen ma ka chene ane chomjing na to sola hintan gujo ma che landu sakdwa rinwar che was. Tinsa kontra mege kichang memba da kola pe chik labi shuyendo da tini che sona lunga ka chawang sa ne chilo tumma chi uche ne ka jaba ina. Kontra ko ka jimbu shibu yungu yore. Ko samba zan che ma so san. Ko ka jimbu che ngoto tsaga yore. Tema chik che, tema nyi che, tema sum che ge na kontra sheta chungan yore. Dati nyam yungu to ne ko she tunga che re ya.
So now, again, there's one thing that I would like to add on to it is that when you are getting angry, and although that you are very angry, you try your best to not let this anger manifest through body and speech, the actions of the body and speech, not letting that manifest into the actions of the body and speech. Therefore, we have in Tibetan we have a saying that even though the flame is developing in the mind, the anger, the flame of anger is developing in your mind. But make sure that the smoke is not coming out of your mouth. That is what it means. So, regardless, even though that the anger is developed very strongly in your mind, but try your best to let not this anger manifest into actions of the body and speech. So therefore, in the Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, where it says that when you are in such situations, one should imagine that one should turn, one should become one should imagine that oneself as a piece of lock, not even moving one's body, the piece of lumber, in other words. So that way, we can, practice ourselves and become better and better, and making sure that not letting this manifest into the actions of the body and speech. So if you do it this way, then there's some point, the anger will reduce. Your anger, the generation of anger, the arousal of anger will become less frequent. It won't be as frequency as it used to be, because that means anger is now thinking that, anger will then really know that you are not really, following the instructions of the anger. So if you do it this one time or 2 times, 3 times, then it will immensely reduce the intensity of anger and arousal of anger and the frequency of this arousal of this anger. So this can be demonstrated by one's own experience if one really engages in the practice on a consistent level.
근데 공주 모시고 찬도 그래. 지금 이 제도 공주 정원도
Nima, sorry to interrupt. Sorry, Khensur Rinpooche. Somebody really needs to leave in this gray Corolla LE, has a Tustin Toyota kind of license plate, 8GGS985. Is that anybody's car? Gray Toyota, parked in the driveway? Nobody? Nobody. Oh wow. Okay. Or a Nissan, white Nissan, parked next to the RV, 4SQL138. Nobody. White Nissan, parked next to the SUV. Okay. Please continue. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, to Chile.
Tanga songi ta chidang tamandi be songi de kanga de tu sondra da cha chedan temu sondra ta te yin son da cha de chedan de temu de ko chegura ko ma chena ko tamandi che mar ti chesa de ngadra nga tela ten ani pe te ngi phe to songi tro re se ne pe chila te ngi dare se la ne tela ti o ma tenjo ko ni shi bi chemi using not to the articulate chijo du pe kola jya jacha chitama ma to mi ena jacha ja thambaya son chizora ta ti chesa de ngadi so ta ti ngadla ta mar chur so ya me ro de ta kar yor me ni la pe ba me de
오늘 제 건설로 봐 인식 유로시아.
맞아.
그 저한테 시부 지부지는도.
So the most difficult situation that we are facing is due to our 3 poisons of the mind, right? And so due to the 3 poisons of the mind, then one look at one person as one's loved ones and have a affection towards that, and look at the other person as someone who is disliked, like and disliked. So with this kind of like and dislike, different from this negative 3 poisons of the mind, one then, superimposed on those individuals, influenced by the inappropriate meditations, inappropriate meditations, which actually superimposes and which actually perceived, and your perception will actually exceeds how actually there are, and you actually superimpose upon that. And although there might be a 10% of the problematic situation there, but you actually increase in its by means of the superimposing onto it, and then making it the 10% of difficulty or 10% of problematic situation into 100%. So what is the most medicine for those situations, or three kind of poisonous?
Tati manzo gaden chaja chimbe nala shenpa yeter she yore tsendele shena chuba meese tsendele shencha meba gorese koala shena ngenjo mense dadola shena jansa meese zimbala shena tawa mense jorwa tati genchanchu tiwa tilen tata tindu yore tele karse warsana lama chubi na tiyorwa rani chevar nzimbi chonendes mendo dunga chebi jintone lelen de la kontu zonshi te danzen donshin chomar chinchin lao sene rani chevar nzimbi chinzen galo te chone chene mekanga kense nagandu se tele duwa kuyore mendo dunga chebi jukanga kone chongare tene danzen maribada kuni kandine hiwi labe kuni kandine de du ene kondu che yungu yore ene docha che yungu yore ene mariba ko yuyu bache ne ganga chang yungan te kuni re ten taga na jaga tsumi che gan namdo che ne rawa me bazo jangan te rani che wan zami chongne korang da danzen mariba niwa tere ten niwa tela kapte che du karche korsana nga thoma meba ne tapardu dungar sumji junshe meba che narne nyawa name yanchu kangalan rochu ngende chuni yinda sene kuni la shashe tango yor diga kwe gore chuni ga nga be me kange nane be kontro tsashu dosha tsashu cheshu chengende chuni yinda se tam mariba tamche mendoba tamche chuni jewa yin ta nga chorini temoto as chuni rosa desa menga nga zogos kandi zogos na nga magan samcha tamche li chienzen galo chiene rani jewan zami chone cho khol chukumes nga nyinga nalo yon chukumes dunga samchi junshe meba na tenga nga samcha tijela nga nyingche gomche ne rang chenze chu kapte teres nga dame be tawa la kumri chene dame be towa chegis danzen donshen chuni kandi ne nga meba zo yimbas dari zonde chuni tsu simna simba yis dari nga chuni shonka pyu gore gonda sene nga la gonda sene en chuni be nga tsame tangare sene sheshe tango yore te jena ene ke chawda monsum ku tsawa ko tesi kujo te tu yore ya
So, for the answer to this question is now, we'll answer according to the Mahamudra by Khensur Rinpooche, the Kandan Chagya Chambu. Says, if one cling to the this life alone, and one is not a Dharma practitioner. If one cling to the samsara, and one is not having renunciations, if one cling to self-cherishing, one is not the generation. So bodhicitta, one is not generated bodhicitta. If one has grasping at the self and phenomena, and one is not achieved the perfect view of emptiness. So here now, to address this kind of problem now, again we find in the Lama Chöpa, the reviewing the stages of the path, where it states that this chronic disease of the cherishing ourselves, right? This cherishing ourselves is the chronic disease. It is worse than cancer. So the chronic disease of the cherishing ourselves is the cause giving rise to our unsought suffering. Suffering is not something that we long to experience, but it just come by itself. Because we created a causes and condition for that due to the self-cherishing mind and self-grasping. And then perceiving this, we seek your blessings to blame and begrudge and destroy the monster demon of selflessness. So then just think about, to tell that to yourself, from the beginningless time up until now, that makes me wander within this cyclic existence, all the way to the hell realms, continuously, unendingly. There's nothing else that I could blame that makes me undergo wander within the cyclic existence, other than those two, self-cherishing mind and self-grasping. And self-grasping and self-cherishing is mind. You are just pinpointing at it, just pinpointing at those two, and think that you two are the one that makes me wander within the cyclic existence. You two are the one that give rise to my unsought sufferings, and you two are the one that is preventing me from achieving happiness that I long to achieve, and so forth. From now on, I will not let you take in a place in my heart, and do my best to address at any time, be carefully and be vigilant, and not letting this arise, and not letting these two self-cherishing and self-grasping abide within my continuum.
Yeah. No more question? Okay. Yeah, that nima draw me wada.
Also,
Kenja ji uchi tete chicken those kaishi. Yeah, one of that Mugochi and Gansu Namju, Janshu Sancho Rumbuchi, Machi Vanuchi, Chivanyama. T. In the Pugela, Janshu Semchi and Julia Chichune. When Janshu Sancho Rumbuchi is a Machi Vanuchi, Chi, they were the Manimba shows and Monamjap. The Hanaji Tombajin Tanji Sonlutan Tanji, she was in this Sonlutan. And Tony Tower Mushi Machi Vanuchi, Chivanyu Monum Tejap. Do you join the Tejel test? Come to Channel Channel? Pay a weird and Twitchy.
So let's dedicate by reciting the verse of the generation of bodhicitta that have not made the precious body mind not yet born rise and grow. May the bone have not declined, but increase furthermore. And then may the precious view of emptiness mind not yet born arise and grow. May the bond have not declined, but increase forevermore. So think about by reciting that one should reflect mind upon the meaning of those verses of generation of bodhicitta and generation of wisdom realizing emptiness, and then to the dedications.
And then Nima Tangani Tari Pacha Judo injury. Talo, or is Yuma Yang also on the Melachi da Lamaji and Nanchi, the Che. Telling actually Nima thoughts and Joyce Lavajari.
Nyemba nangu mare jala kushi,
Mare
ken
mare.
nangu mare.
The Chonata Gomer Sarwa, Yang Anjaya,
Kawa tinte nangu mare ken.
Nimbarida.
Nga sungyo shua di ken rumji sungyo shua di ngara sungyo nyemba shugyo. Ke tabal lenta yawa inande. Sungyo de shi tinte diga nyemba delene yawa yungana.
Mare mare
Nyemba nangu mare jala.
Nima chimu me, nima tesi, tati nge Joyce Lavachasako. And Joyce Chelarochi, more tabarish kejuchi digger, Mora Nima tesi, Mola Yang Kadaji tegi, yeah.
So Khensur Rinpooche is offering you making an offering to Joyce, who has been translating all the time.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Eating. This Nima, okay? You sent to Nima, okay. Oh, thank you. Then there's a last.
Also,
And then Nima Yahuchon's Nima Alas.
lasso can get
Yeah. Yeah.
Tenpa jeje geja jusu zo yen dam gurra rana mandela neya daya me. Khensur Rinpooche no life? English, Chinese together? Nyondajini. Oh, Ganre Ravi Goye Shingande, Pendant Dawa, Malin Jongren, Chenri Zinwa, Tinzen Jazoye, Javi City, Bot, Tenjo, Jin, Tenyong, Devi Color, Danze Joge, Wanje, Raga, Daje, Bomba, Chini Joge, Guze, Gejavi, Loje, Jemie, Dezeyon, Dambi, Boza Jazo, 正说这道也别我这养儿的大别接点八九那接我那拉紧给人都得别在马连进，现在人啊给上朋友做，总在马爷你马些点就街上这么大人的帮子这就结果了。就这装备养啊东北别点别这些进步这点就得上那些进不了。我叫弄的蓝的用这边给上各种不业你自己给就用的红包些。新的政绩看我用昨天当啊兄家嘛也在这边帮助这些共同个东西到我就业就点就让你就马拉雅龙一个月是拉真个不了真的这边这些我嘛那么两个就点就你们让当莫里这当对月结我年多节身边我现在就今天路啊面边点得当这点说明这里面。大给拉上大别没帮忙，之前这边东这都也说给我的年的大拉马上见着见，罗即将马列完的萨兰国不儿学，将就人就人不马结巴那结进，结巴娘巴没巴。公年公灯别无人学呀，当年大娃人不接，马结巴那么接近。结巴娘巴没巴呀，公年公灯别无人学呀，遍天将的两把大仙， 定真结不当结果刚上，绿箭刚拉的金中原，长街电报大的那就是机。